It's time to get down to the business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Glad to be with you all here this evening. And I gotta tell you, I've been given, lately it's been a subject that's been coming up about competence and about competitiveness, particularly among men. And that is something that is simply not going to go away. However, when we have these discussions nowadays, it seems like there's a subset here, and everyone is promising you the same damn thing. They're promising you that there's going to be some kind of cheat code to get around or to circumvent being genuinely competitive, and that is the edge that you have. As a man, if you want to know what the loophole is to life, the loophole, the cheat code is be competitive. That's the loophole, that's the cheat code. But there are a number of dudes out there who've been selling this thing, and what they're doing is selling it. They've been selling this idea that you can get around being competitive. And one of the ways, probably the biggest way you hear the biggest urban legend, urban myth circulating out there right now is the idea that, well, the issue isn't with the men. The issue isn't with you. The issue is with the women, and that there is some paradise, some nirvana, that there is some mystical, mythical, magical place out there that if you can just get there, like Diego, like LaSalle, if you can just get there, like El Dorado, if you can just, like Cortez, if you can just get there, like searching for the road to El Dorado, the road to the magical city of gold, if you can get to that, then you'll be okay. That's what you're being sold on the idea of. That there is some mythical nirvana where lames win. That's basically what you're being told. There is a mythical, mystical, magical place where you will not be required to compete and where lames win on a regular basis. Now that's what you're being told there. So what they do is they name off a number of different places, foreign countries, always third world countries. It's never a place that is built up and upscale or anything. It's always a third world country. And if you can just get there, everything will be great and everything will be fine. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. And what I'm going to do right now here, because passport pimping is at an all-time high. And dudes are figuring, well, the cheat code of the mystical path now is go ahead and get you a passport, young man, and everything will fall at your feet. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and post the link to our Zoom in the chat room here. And for the fellas who you've been passport pimping, everything's going great for you, I want you to go ahead and give us a call up is what I want you to do. I'm also going to open up the phone lines here. So what I've done, Zoom gets priority, especially if you are sitting on the beaches somewhere. Zoom gets priority for that. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines here as well, because I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and speak on this. I want to go ahead and give you a chance to do that because I want young men in particular to understand exactly what's happening here. If someone is going to tell you that there's a cheat code around competitiveness, that's the thing I want to find out here. If there's a cheat code around competitiveness, that, quote, the women elsewhere, you're dealing with something different. Because I've got some things I'm looking at here, and it kind of sounds a whole lot different. But if you want to go ahead and weigh in on that, go ahead and give us a call. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the program that laid the foundation that all of your YouTubers out there talk about. This is the program they all talk crap about behind our backs because they're all tuned in and listening. So shout out to all of you out there hate watching, furiously taking notes. Some of you even taking the subject material. furiously taking notes and whatnot and rewording it, you certainly can go ahead and do that. Hey, get it how you live. They're going to get it how they live. So go ahead. But what I want to do here is I want to open this up because I want you to go ahead and explain that. I'm going to give them an opportunity to explain this. I'm going to give them an opportunity to go ahead and talk about this so you can let people know exactly what's going on. You won't have somebody filtering it or in the way of it. You can go ahead and explain it to them. Because the problem with the internet is it's very easy to make content that sounds a certain way, strikes people a certain way, that, floats people's boats. It's very easy to make content that does that. That's very easy. What is very hard is to present people with real actionable answers. Now that's very hard. And one of the things that's happened is they've sold, particularly young men, on the idea that you can overcome incompetence with a passport. That's the idea. That's what they're telling them. You can overcome incompetence with a passport. That there's a place in the world where female nature has been defeated, circumvented, knocked off of its square, that there's a place in the world where that's happening. And all you have to do is get there and you'll be okay. Does that sound a little too good to be true? Just on its face. When you think about that, does it sound too good to be true? Does that sound a little bit too good to be true? What I'd like to do is I want to send an invitation out here tonight. And if you all don't like the program, I'll go ahead and shut it down early. But if you like this subject here, what I'm going to talk about, go ahead and hit my likes button for me. I want the fellas who are in the military, those of you who are in the military or ex-military, I want you to give me a call. No, not the fellas who claim they're traveling for YouTube. I mean, you can call in too. But for the fellas who are in the military, those of you who have a vocation where you travel worldwide and you've seen these things. Now, in my case, I'm going to be very limited in what I say because, as you all know, I've got friends at the State Department. Shout out Kamala Harris. I won't even tell you what happened with my passport. I will just say Kamala Harris sends her regards. She's kind of still smarting over that 2020 election thing, apparently. So she has sent her regards. She's like, yeah, Negro, you're going to have to do like the Mexicans lead this country. All right. From Obama to her, so the beat goes on. However, what I want you to do, I want you to go ahead and give me a call. Remember, Zoom gets priority, but we're going to give you a chance to go ahead and weigh in on that. Telephone lines are racking up here. By the way, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program here on PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. J. Freeman Blackman there on the Super Chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. U.S. Army retired. Thank you very much. Shout out to you here as well. And you're correct. They want perks and advantages, but a lot of these fellas are picking up on bad traits from that as well, brother. So let's go ahead and see about giving them a chance to weigh in on this. And the sooner you come in on this, the better. By the way, the sooner you come in on this, the better. If you're calling internationally, you can call. I got one person on here. It looks like you're calling internationally. I don't know. If you're calling from a blocked number or something, you need to let the mods in the chat room know that you're calling. So I'm not going to just take random folks. If your number is, if you're international and not visible, if you can hear this, you can just let the mods in the chat room know that you want to speak. So don't just call up out of nowhere. If you're not in the States or if your number's not showing up, you need to let the mods know that you're on the line. Otherwise, I'm going to have to leave you there or drop your call, one or the other. So you want to go ahead and get your life together. Let me go ahead and get caller from area code 646. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, peace, Jason. What's up? This is Clark.
Okay, you say your name's Clark?
Hey. Yes, sir. How are you?
Okay, what's on your mind, Clark? Where you? Let me find out here. First of all, your phone's your volume on your phone is real low and janky, so I'm not sure if you're calling me from a satellite phone or not. But your volume on your phone is low.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Harlem, New York.
Okay, he's got his soup can phone figured out here. All right, Clark from Harlem, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I agree with you. I've lived in 7 countries, and I started traveling maybe about 12 years ago. And this whole passport thing is kind of blown out of proportion. If anything, I want to add on, by living in another country, a lot of your flaws or any problems that you have, they don't go away. They're actually amplified. And there's like a lot of these passport guys, they have this they're selling these shirts saying, travel is cheaper than therapy, and I think that's sending the wrong message. Whatever insecurities, if you're a simp here or if you're a loser here, you're gonna be a simp or a loser wherever you go. And so there's no magical place where, if you're an insecure dude in the United States and then you get on a plane, if it doesn't matter if it's Thailand or Cambodia or Colombia, you're still gonna be that same guy. And so you can pay women to have sex with you, but you're still going to be the same person.
Yeah, because here's the real thing. Some of the cues of, desirability, some of the things you would look for there are sorely lacking. I don't see any of these guys who give off any air or have demonstrated any type of alpha viability or anything like that. It's just a bunch of guys talking about international dating, and not to me, they're talking about international dating, but then when you get into the details of it, it's some dude, what they're doing is they're going to bars and they're going to red light districts and all this stuff. And it's like, okay,
right.
He's not actually getting anything. Then they're coming back here and talking as if they've done something.
Right, and the argument is right now, I don't know if you noticed, but it's dating coaches versus the passport guys. And the dating coaches are basically saying, you guys haven't got your shit together, you're just traveling it and buying pussy. And so there are different types of brothers who travel, but this whole thing where a lot of brothers are validating themselves by basically getting a passport and then going to DR for a weekend, I think that's been in the atmosphere for like the last decade or so, but it's something that's pushed heavy post-COVID.
Well, let me deal with that here right quick. So, are you originally from New York?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where are your people from?
Yeah. My father is from the islands. My mother's African American.
Okay, which islands, sir? There's a lot of islands.
Trinidad.
All right, let's talk about the Caribbean here for a moment. Now, how old are you, young man?
I'm 45.
Okay, so you're about the same age as me. Now,
yes,
a lot of cats don't understand this in particular. When they use phrases like, get your chick from the Dominican, get your chick from, Jamaica, get your chick from Tobago, Trinidad, whatever. When they say those things, that's really meant for the consumption of males who don't know any better. Because for those of you in New York City, what they don't understand is that if you're a male from New York, you are meeting first generation. Trinidadians, Dominicans, you got huge enclaves of them up there, voting blocks and enclaves. So to people outside of New York, meeting a Dominican woman is a novelty. For fellas who or people who live in New York, y'all are tripping over them every single day at the hospitals, the nursing homes, the supermarkets, the hardware stores. Dominicans are a common thing. First generation. Let me stress that one. First generation. Chicks fresh off the plane from the Dominican Republic that's common. It's only a novelty outside of New York. So that's why they can still sell it to the rest of the country as if there's something really special about it. But for those of you who live there, they're telling you that these chicks off the plane are radically different from second, third, fourth generation American females of any variety.
No.
And that's just
I'll tell you this.
What do you think of that?
Well, sir, I'll say this. I've lived here and I have some experience dating, Latin women here. And I'll say this. Once they get here, all that shit that they've been running in DR, they leave that behind. A lot of them become super, a lot of them don't fuck with brothers here. And I'm being very honest. There are some that do, but a lot of them are on some racist shit as soon as they get off the plane, and they're taught that from their parents. So, this whole thing about it's not. I'm just basically adding on to your conversation because, like, there is a game that's being run, and it basically brothers still have to improve themselves. There's like, you can go out there and pay or whatever, but the bottom line is you're still going to be the same person when you come back. And a lot of these women are not. They might marry you. They might marry you, but they're gonna leave you as soon as they get here. I had a Dominican man tell me this, a cab driver. He said, "Listen, you could date a Dominican woman, But you understand this: she's gonna have a Dominican man here, no matter what. So, they have, and if you talk to older brothers from the Bronx and uptown who've been dealing with Dominicans for a while, they'll tell you that there's a lot of issues of dealing with those women. Like there's a lot of incest in their families, and I'm not speaking negative. There's a lot of good Dominican families and stuff, but like a lot of them older brothers who are like 55, 60 and older, they'll tell you they've dated Dominican women, and shit, the grass isn't green on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, there can be issues involved in that and whatnot. And the idea that, you don't like him in America, that like Dominican is just some exotic, magical incantation. If you say the word Dominican, then it's washed away all of the evils and all the problems. Because there was a guy who called in here before, and I had to correct him about this. When they say, these foreign women or women from other places, they're not adherents to, quote, Western culture. To which I'm like, dude, what part of Western culture has not permeated every corner of this world? What are you talking about?
Well, they're fully plugged in terms of entertainment. Now, their behavior will be different, but, I could just speak for myself, Jason. In 2003, I saw this movie, City of God. And, it impacted me, and that's when I wanted to go to Brazil. But, I went and lived there for 6 months, and, 7 months, actually. But, what I noticed was I had the same insecurities. All of my problems were amplified in another country. And when you hear someone who speaks English as a second language tell you, notice some of your personality flaws, it can really hit home with you. So I'm basically adding on to your conversation and sharing, you still, all the stuff that you're saying about self-improvement that you tell a lot of brothers here in the business about self-improvement, working on yourself, increasing your salary, all that has to be done. You can still take a vacation, but you will still be the same person at the end of the day.
There's the real thing about it is if you are the same person, women are going to react the same way to you. And if you're just a sex tourist, being a sex tourist is not a flex. That's the thing right there that I consider to be most disgusting. That's, first of all, it's exploitation. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. That's just exploitation. There's nothing to flex about, hey, I'm exploiting broads over here somewhere else. That's not a flex.
Well, I'm not like I said, I never did this whole DR thing for like 1 week or whatever. And, because when I went out there, I was living in a favela actually. So, I didn't have that experience. That whole sex tourism thing. But like I said, my girlfriend that I had in Brazil, she was the equivalent of the girls that I've been dating here. She wasn't any better. So, like I said, you're still going to be the same person when you get there, and you're magnetic. Whatever you are here, you're going to attract the same thing there. It doesn't matter where you go.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 615. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John, calling from Chicago.
John from Chicago, what's on your mind?
I kind of think you're painting it with like too broad a brush. It's like you focus on the guys who are going to Dominican Republic or Colombia, and they hanging out in the red light district and the bars with the bar girls, and that's it. Well, it's a lot more to it, than that. Like, I personally, I lived overseas for 8 years.
Why?
I've been to these places.
Okay,
also,
slow down. Well, I lived overseas for 8 years.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I started a company, and I just kind of want to travel and see the world. So I would live in this country for a month or two, in that city for a month or two, just kind of seeing what's out there.
Okay. Why would anybody need to do that for 8 years?
Because I just wanted to.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like a need to get away, or why would you not want to do that if you have the opportunity?
Because that's the big ass hassle. You can't build a business traveling. You have to have a home base, and to build the business, you have to be in that home base for the majority of the time, not globe trotting.
My business is 13 years old now, and it's grown quite a bit. It's not a brick and mortar business. I don't need to be in a particular place selling widgets out of my store. That's not what we do. I'm in software and hardware, so that makes it a little bit different.
Not really. No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, that makes it even more so what I said there, because you're not going to be able to grow a software concern just visiting places. You only go to a place where you're going to do business already, so you wouldn't be there for a couple of weeks. That's not the way that works.
I don't want to argue with you about it.
There's no argument. It's not an argument. Sir, my point is it's not an argument, and I can prove it's not an argument, because if that were the case, are you still in the business?
I can show you.
Sir, are you still in the business? Are you still in the business now, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still in that business now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're in Chicago.
Yeah, currently, yes.
There you go. Now, moving right along here, about that traveling and stuff, that's all cute and everything. Here's the real thing. If a person, why in the world, if you're just going there for business, if you're going there to visit, quotations, visit, that's great and everything, but that doesn't really give you any amount of time to be able to ingratiate yourself with the population. That's the real issue. You can pick up some cheap, slutty girls very quickly. What you're not going to be able to do is have a meaningful relationship. Now, that's going to take an extended period of time.
And that's 100% true.
Right.
That's 100% true.
Right. And that's the issue.
During these travels,
that's the issue.
Well, I ended up staying in one place for 6.5 years. Obviously, during that time, I would still make little mini trips here and there for a week or two, but I spent a huge bulk of that time in this one place. And that's kind of where
which was the one place, sir?
Well, I don't want to go into specifics in that.
Okay, then sir, with all due respect, then it sounds phony. So if you can't name what the place is, then what you're saying is I've invented a fictional locale and everything worked out well. Without us being able to know what the locale was, because you could be just talking out of your ear, if you can't name what it is so that we all have a common frame of reference, then with all due respect, it's fiction and phoniness. So why don't we go ahead and give it a shot here? Because nobody knows who you are. So for you to sit up here and say, I don't want to say what it is, that sounds like you're kind of lying. So I'll give you one more shot at it. Which was the locale? Where was this place you were at for 6 years?
Again, I'm not going to say that city. And if you call it a lie,
sir, it sounds like you're being phony, so I got to let you go. Sounds like you're being fake and phony. So let's be very clear. Nobody knows who you are, but he doesn't want to say where it is, because as soon as he says Colombia, Thailand, the Philippines, as soon as he says that, then he knows, it's like, yeah, you got caught. You got caught being a fraud. You got caught doing that, because then we'll be able to name the exact questions that we need to ask. So you got to understand, dudes get the game. They understand it. They get it. I got a couple of folks here on Zoom. So if I bring you up from Zoom, what I need for you to do is I need for you to make sure that you have your camera and your microphone on. You won't be allowed on until you have that up and going, but make sure you have your camera and your mic on here. Okay, Zoom user, go ahead and point your camera down some and get it still, ma'am. You flying all over the place there for a moment, but go ahead and get it still for me. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and what is your name?
Hi, my name is Jessica Brenda Swartz.
Hello, Jessica. And where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from South Korea, and I'm African by descent, and first time actually calling in and second time listening. So I agree with you with regards to, it's being exploited to the extent that, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, but as an African lady, right, even though I come from a third world continent, it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't know what qualities of a man, are deemed fit. So my put in is that just because a woman comes from a third world country does not mean she's not looking for a quality man. It doesn't mean that you can exploit her and her submissiveness and, her sort of agreeableness in order to suit whatever motive you have in that country for that time.
Okay, now, how much of that do you encounter personally?
So since I'm in South Korea, there are quite a few men that, will only date Korean women because of the fact that, they are submissive or they are agreeable. But you can tell that some of them do exploit them to a certain extent because they know that maybe the woman is looking for a better opportunity. And it's not necessarily that they're going to marry them, but more so that, since they're around, they're just going to, play around with them. So you're right in saying that if you're going to be a not so great person in America, you're not going to be a great person in another country as well because your character does not leave you.
Okay, now you say you're in Korea now, so you're in South Korea, so
It,
home of Samsung and all that, one of the plastic surgery capitals of the
it,
world. May I ask, I gotta ask, what is the lady's age?
oh, my age, I am 29.
Okay, so you're not one of these middle-aged chicks, so you're in the middle of this millennial thing. That's great. That's wonderful. Here's the thing about that. So the things you're going to hear, obviously, over here, you're going to hear guys talking about, well, we'll just take Korea. Well, how long have you been in Korea?
This is my 4th year.
Okay. What you're going to hear things like these women have, quote, traditional values, which means that they are all looking to cook, clean, and be a traditional Stepford wife. In
Yeah.
your experience, is that what you see over there?
No. So South Korean women, honestly speaking, they are not as homely as people would perceive, especially the modern ones. Of late, they've been marrying at a later stage in their lives. And I can tell because it's mainly like the white guys that from America that come here, they specifically go for, women here because I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the ladies are looking for a better opportunity. Not, I'm not, trying to make anybody sound bad, but the ladies are looking for a better opportunity or to go to another country, you know? So that's been my experience. They're not necessarily any different in my
So they're
observation.
looking. So what you're saying is they're looking for a candidate. They're looking for a sponsor.
Pretty much, because Korean women on the streets, they're known for spending money, and if you don't have a sufficient amount, then you cannot upkeep her in a sense. So they do have higher standards. So
Okay, so they are looking to be kept then.
pretty much, as yeah, from what I've seen.
So the fellas who are claiming that that's not going to be an issue there, that's a little bit. That's going to be a little bit of a chin check for them here.
First, this place is, just because it's a third world continent, it doesn't necessarily mean that the woman does not have a standard, So women all over the world do like a man with resources. So just because you go to Philippines, it doesn't mean you're going to get you're not going to get a woman at a cheaper price in that regard. So that's what I'm saying. If you are not a great person and you're looking for a woman to exploit her, or you're looking for a woman that's just going to, I don't know, if the exchange is still going to be monetary, as in like, I will do this for you if you do this for me, that's the type of lady that you will run into. But if you're looking for a quality woman, then you also ought to be a quality man.
I'd like to remind people of something here. For those of you who don't know, there was something that really exploded, I think, on Chinese social media. There was something that really exploded over there, and I wanted to take an opportunity to share that with people, to put it in its context, because one of the worst things that can happen is when you have, a whole bunch of misinformation in that regard, because the problem is misinformation travels very quickly. I wanted to show you all a picture here on your screens. You can see this is from the Wealth Challenge. So it's a little bit of a joke in Chinese social media. It was a little bit of a joke. But it was a joke, but then it's not. And you can literally look this up, for those of you who haven't seen it, dozens of pictures and whatnot. Folks have put their own variations on these things. So it's basically women falling out of expensive cars with their Chanel bags and money or makeup or whatever strewn all over the ground. And what I'm saying is this came out of China. This didn't come out of Miami. This didn't come out of New York. This didn't come out of Los Angeles. This came out of China. This came out of China. And you have people who are basically running around giving the idea, the impression that they have that the only place where a man's ability to produce at a high level is prized or valued, well, that's just in the materialistic, quote unquote, West. To which I tell them, no, that's global. That is female nature. If all things are equal, the woman's going to go with the fellow who got the bag. If all things are equal. However, there's one more aspect to it. And I want to ask you about this. But particularly where you're from originally, not the Korean, particularly where you're from originally. Do you find that you have individuals there who are really interested in sex tourism? And we're going to get off in the weeds a little bit here. That they're looking for specific sex acts, in some cases with individuals who it would not be legal to do it with where they're from originally. And basically they think they found a hunting ground.
Okay. So I am South African, so we are known for having a round, back. And it's not something that I can say is prevalent. It's not. In terms of sex tourism, no. But of late, people have been wanting to come to South Africa because of the women and how they look. Not necessarily that they're looking for a quality woman,
Okay, because on the African continent, period, that's something we hear about pretty prevalently. We hear about that pretty prevalently as far as sex tourism and looking for a specific thing. Not so much a specific built woman, but just saying, basically they're buying sexual access. And in some cases, buying sexual access with minors, individuals who is not legal to do that with where they're from. So they're going someplace where nobody knows them, nobody's seen him, he's got his passport, and nobody knows anything.
No, I haven't heard of that. This is my first time hearing of that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, you must have lived in South Africa for about 3 days because
I grew up there. I haven't heard of that.
Okay, you must have grew up there when you were about 2 years old and then got the hell out. So I'm just gonna say, if you hadn't heard of that, ma'am, you might mean South Africa, Minnesota. I'm not sure what you mean, but if you mean South Africa, I don't see how you missed it. But okay, I'm not sure how you missed it.
Yeah, but please, I really do appreciate your channel. I'm learning a lot, and I like the fact that you're objective and it gives me information that is, in the middle. It's not too, on either side of the coin.
Well, slow down now.
Sorry.
Being from South Africa now. Also, one other thing, y'all are pretty well known for wanting your white sugar daddies. So can we keep it? Okay, are you gonna say that ain't a thing? Are you really gonna try that one?
Oh, no, I will not. I will be open and honest. Yes, that is a thing. I'm not even gonna front.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can we have an honest discussion? Because if you say that's not true, you're going to arm the guys that you're talking about. It's the ones who are doing their passport pimping, you would have just armed them because everybody knows what the deal is. And we can know what the deal is, that's fine. But if we don't have an honest conversation about it, then you can't separate fact from fiction. So just coming out of the gate, if a fella thinks he's going to show up in Africa and there's going to be a bunch of chicks with grass skirts and, with the local witch doctor painting his face, and they're going to be looking at a cell phone like it's a magic carpet, it's far from reality. I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't have a million Gucci stores over there, but I'm sure you got one.
We do. We've got a lot of Gucci stores. Chanel. We do have like a Rodeo Drive type of vibe in South Africa. It's called Sandton City. Trust me, a South African girl is not cheap either. African women in general, I think, unless you go to the village and you find a girl from the village. But even so, if she comes to the city, she will pick up on the city girl traits, and she'll also eventually, also want nice things. That's the stereotype of if you get like with a village girl.
Is it a stereotype or is it a fact?
I'm going to have to say, it depends. It depends. If she's a woman of moral value, like she has morals, then she's not going to be swayed by what she sees in the city. Then, then it's not going to happen. But prevalently, I would say yes.
Okay. How many chicks are out there in the country trying to get up out the country?
A lot.
Thank you.
A lot.
Thank you. That's my whole point is, they're in the rural area. Yeah, she's trying to get out the rural area and get to the city. That's where she's trying to get to. So even if a fella does make his way out there to the villages, she's trying to get out the village to the cities where she's trying to get to. So what I'm saying is the word has already gotten everywhere. The word is already out there. Now, let me ask you something else here in that regard. Because I think this is really good for a female in your age group as well. Do you think let me talk about sharing a man who's got a lot of resources. Is that a big, yes ma'am, sharing a man who's got a lot of resources, he wants to have more than one female. How big of an issue is that for him in Africa, in South Africa?
To be quite honest with you, we as African women know that men cheat. It's like something that we go up on. It's just something that we know. Like
not talking about cheating now. Let me be clear about that. Not talking about cheating. He's like, hey, I got the bag. I paid the cost to be the boss. So you can be the one. You just can't be the only one.
We don't do that.
Stop.
As South African, we don't do that. We do not do it. Our man is our man. If he cheats, that's a different story. But in terms of sharing a man, we don't do that.
Ma'am. You were doing so great. Y'all, she was doing so fine for a while there. She was doing so great for a minute.
Rude.
Boy, she found her little African gas light. She's all the way in South Korea, but she brought her African gas light with her. So I don't know whether they use propane or methane, but she brought it with her, boy. She was like, oh, I'm not going to put that out there. Ma'am, really?
Being honest, okay, so usually if a girl has a man, right, okay, please give me a scenario so I can also give you a direct answer.
Okay. In the chat room right now, they can name any number of men in that circumstance. The bottom line is polygamy is not a legal thing in America. It's more, you'll find it more in Africa. It's not an uncommon thing to have that as even as a cultural dynamic, not necessarily as a legal one, but as a cultural one. It's not that big. If a fella's got the money together, it's expected that he's got access to as many women as he wants.
Honestly, that's what people think, but that's not how it goes in reality in South Africa. Usually it's one man, one wife, and the man will cheat. That's what I'm saying. The man will cheat, but he will have a wife. But okay, I will say that what does happen is because South Africa is set up in a way that we've got the city and we've got the village area. So men usually, especially in the past, they would leave the village and go to the city to work, and they'll be there for majority of the year. And then come December, like the festive season, they would go back to the village and be with their actual wives. So there were cases where there would be a wife in the city and a wife in the village, and they never knew of each other. That does happen. But in terms of back then, pre-colonial times, that's where it was prevalent to have more than one wife because, the way that they used to live in that setup. But in modern times, no, it's one man, one wife, usually.
Okay. But Nigeria...
I cannot speak for Nigeria because
now for those of you who may be wondering why I didn't do that earlier, for those of you listening recorded later, the reason why I'm not naming any of the other couple of dozen countries in Africa is because what she's going to say is, oh, I don't know anything about those. I only know about South Africa. So there goes the dodge there. However, even in South Africa, ma'am, are you telling me that when the white men get off the plane in Johannesburg, that they are not getting doubled and tripled up on? Are you saying that that's not happening?
Older ladies, yes.
What?
I would so, but in terms of younger ladies, honestly speaking, I'm okay. So I came.
So you're telling me that Cape Town TikTok is not sitting up here with 3 or 4 of them doubled up on Zaddy. That's what you're saying.
I've been living in South Korea in a bubble for like 5 years now.
Okay, well, that's 5 years. The first 24, though, ma'am.
Okay, true. Okay, from what I know,
Y'all, she's sticking by the sisterhood, ain't she? Boy, she ain't gonna. Y'all thought I was different. That's not a Western thing. The sisterhood is worldwide.
From what I know, okay. Yes, you do get white guys. Okay, they do come. Okay, I see what you're saying. They do come to get, sex, and they exchange it for money. That is a thing. And there was a lady who was, giving out ladies to these people as well. There was a story like that as well. And also, I think we're also behind the whole Arabian thing where, women go to Dubai. That's also South African women that go to Dubai, and all sorts of things happen there. And then they exchange that for money as well. You do hear stories of the influencers who go there to Dubai and then come back to South Africa and open up a store with the money that they got for doing those acts. You do hear stories like that. But I haven't seen it with my own two eyes, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but you are aware.
I am aware that those things do happen. Okay. Yes, so that's all I was saying, that if you're a type of guy that is looking for that, that is the type of lady that you will find in South Africa and any other country for that, for that fact.
Okay, so my last question here is about the traditional stay-at-home wife who is just happy to have the guy working at the General Motors plant. Is that I want to start with where you were first. By your observation, is that the norm in South Africa? That is the highest that the females there aspire to. The families and everything else, they want their daughters to just get with a guy who's got a decent job. I won't say a cab driver, because y'all might want to Google what's happening with the cab companies down there in South Africa. It's like Grand Theft Auto. It really, really is. It's like Grand Theft Auto for real. However, outside of that, let's just say something else in particular. What in your experience, what you observe in your family and friends and things, what do they aspire for their daughters to be with on a common basis?
Common basis, it was either like engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, accountant. Those are the ones that they push the girls to marry. But I will say, though, that in South African families, they do raise the girls to be wives, because we like, the girls in the family are the ones that serve the family usually. Like, we're the ones that take care of the family because mom and dad are working. So it's us that usually stay at home. So that's why we have to take care of everything else. So I would say. But I will say, though, South African women are not necessarily picky when it comes to who it is that they love. If they love you, they will love you. But it's not really prevalent for, let's say, an educated South African woman to go with a guy that's not necessarily, successful.
So in other words, they're looking for the bag.
Comfortable living.
Did you all hear that word? Comfortable. Now, I want you all to understand that comfortable. On the left side of your screen is their definition of comfortable. Let's be very clear. Anything else is running game until they can get to the left side of the screen. Let's be clear about that. In South Korea, where you are,
yes,
how many of them are aspiring to be stay-at-home wives to the guy who works at the Samsung phone factory?
No, okay. So with South Korean ladies, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. They take care of the children. Like, the woman's job is to take care of the children, and they do understand the dynamics that I've seen. Because I'm a teacher, so I work at an elementary school, and it's usually the moms that come and pick up the children. The moms are very involved in their children's lives. The moms make sure that the homework is done, that they're at school on time, that they do their after school things. They're very on point with that. I will give that to them.
How many of them are driving Mercedes?
They're not like that. A few with like a lot of money. So I work at a private school, so I do see a lot of Mercedes and BMWs, but they normally stick with Kia.
I guess now that would be the Genesis, though. Now I guess it would be.
Well, Genesis, yes. Okay. Genesis, sometimes Porsche, sometimes.
Waiting to get their weight up there. Well, I want to thank you for calling in about this and breaking up some misconceptions. So all the fellas out there who are thinking that they can go to South Korea or South Africa and pick up 4 or 5 chicks with a blow pop and a hamburger, and they figure they're going to do the Sally Struthers thing and they're going to just load them up in the back of the wagon. I guess you've helped set that straight for them there. So I appreciate that. I'll let you have the last word.
I'm so sorry. I just woke up to clean because it's in the morning now. So that's why I look like this. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I'm sure I don't, if someone was accusing you of the Koreans making you clean up their house or whatever, I'll make sure I get them corrected on that. So we won't just assume that's the situation. So thank you very much. We appreciate you going ahead and checking in with us here tonight. Yeah, we're worldwide in that regard. We're worldwide. So let me go ahead and get Andre here. Let me go ahead and get Andre. You can go ahead and get on Zoom here. So make sure you have your mic and your audio on. I'm waiting for Andre here to get his act together on that. Make sure you have your mic on. Point your camera down, Andre. Okay, we don't want to show Struggleville, but point the camera down. Okay, you got your mic on?
I believe it's on.
All right, he is on here. All right, Andre, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Miami.
Okay, you in the middle of the thick of it there. Let me see. I hate to even say this because folks are going to get upset if I say this, but north side or south side?
South.
Okay, so he's not on the beach yet, but he's on his way. Or are you?
No. I'm on South Miami, Hammocks area.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, all the inside. I've been living in Miami for 20 years.
Okay, he's getting his weight up. All right, what's on your mind, Andre?
No, I'm actually a married guy. I'm originally from Chile. I'm married to a Colombian woman. My brother is married to a Venezuelan woman. I just want to briefly say that this whole passport thing, guys are getting scammed left and right throughout the world. Somehow they think that women, I'm not saying women outside of the U.S. are worse or better, but they think that they have this idea that women outside of the U.S. are these magical creatures that don't care about money or that they're going to be impressed with whatever little thing they got going on. I even have family members, well, political family members, because they're from my wife's side. My wife's cousins from Colombia, they live off men that travel from the U.S. to Colombia to spend a month. It's crazy. And the funny thing is that somehow they think that these badass chicks that you can find in Venezuela, in Colombia, that they're different from badass chicks that you find in the U.S. When in reality, these women, what type of men do the badass chick like in the U.S.? The bad boys, the gangsters. And over there, it's the same thing. So they go there, they go there with $5,000, $10,000 to spend money for a month or maybe 2 weeks. And they don't even know that their money is going to the boyfriend. It's like it's crazy. Like I know guys that they save up money to go to Colombia for a couple of weeks, to go to Medellin, to go to Cali, and then they come back saying, "Wow, the women over there are so beautiful, and they're so great, and they're so feminine," and they are. But 80% of it is an act. Like I don't understand why some men think that the women over there are going to be much different from the women here, especially actually here in Miami. Miami is like a bridge between Latin America and the U.S. So why the hell are they thinking that the Colombian chicks in Cali, like 400 miles away from Miami, are going to be different from?
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing I tell guys here, and I've been trying to explain that to them, is that only works if you've never been to those places. If you've never been to New York, then you don't realize, hey, you got first generation Dominicans, Puerto Ricans right there. If you've never actually spent any real time in Miami, then you don't understand. You got first generation Cuban, Colombian, Brazilian females right there. So it's not as if you even have to go out of the country to find out what the deal is in that regard. They're right there, and not in small numbers either, in very large numbers. So the only way you don't know is if you haven't actually experienced it or seen it, and that's what's going on. A couple of guys are going or seeing something, and in order to boost their own image, they're coming back and characterizing it as something it's not. because they know that the majority of the fellas they're talking to are never going to go, never going to see it, never going to experience it for themselves, and be able to say, hey, it's not really like that. So it's kind of like flexing for the gram before you were flexing for the gram, basically. This only works as long as the people you're talking to don't know any better. It works perfectly fine when you say it. If you talk to somebody who's actually from these areas, then they're all looking at you like, which one are you talking about? What are these women you're talking about? That's what it becomes.
Exactly. They've been. I mean, now the whole thing is getting kind of embarrassing. I have nothing against the manosphere, the whole red pill thing. I think that modern men have legitimate grievances, so I understand it. But the empty side of it, the whole fake side of it, you're seeing some YouTube characters. Some of the ones that copy you, like you see them showing, and actually, I mean, they're actually telling on themselves that I saw this guy, he's got a little bit of a presence, showing pictures, saying, "Oh, passport bro," whatever. Dude, you're showing pictures with chicks, with girls that might not even be 18, man. I mean, dude, it's like you and they go there, they save up $5,000, $10,000, maybe $15,000 for 6 months, for a year, and they go there and then they're back telling these fantasy stories. And sometimes it's dangerous too, because you gotta be careful where you go. I mean, I don't know. You remember the case of there was a gentleman, it's a black American guy. For whatever reasons, he moved to Colombia. Started a business there, a food business, and all of a sudden the guy shows up dead. It seems like he showed up dead the day after he put the girlfriend that he met there under the name of the big. So it's like you gotta be careful.
No, it's a number of cats going down there now, particularly in the case of Medellin. And I guess they feel like it still has a lot of mystique because of Escobar and things. And while Medellin is, I'm gonna say Medellin and not Medellin, so anybody in South America don't get upset. But they're going down there so that they can say that they've been there. They're going down there because of a mystique of it. But in reality, while it is considerably safer than it was in the cocaine cowboy days, it's still not as safe as they're saying it is. So a lot of folks are out here risking their lives, literally, just to be able to sit up here and make these claims. So what you're saying is true. It seems like at least every couple of months you're hearing about somebody who went down there, particularly for some female, and it goes all the way the wrong way about it. Now, that's the part, they don't tell that as a common story. So in a lot of cases, I wonder how long they even stay down there, because in my opinion, it's not very long. But that first part you said, and I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it does bear being said. In a lot of these cases, I get a real bad vibe that why in the world would you go to a place that you weren't born, you don't have any experience at, you don't speak the language? The only reason I can imagine that you would be willing to take all those risks is because there's something you can get there that you just absolutely cannot get in Miami or New York or Los Angeles or something like that. And one of the first things I think of is an underage girl. That's the first thing I think of is, well, that's the only real thing I could imagine that's worth all this risk. That's worth you're willing to risk life and limb. What is it you're willing to do that for? So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. Let me ask you one more thing here. Because you say you've been in Miami for 20 plus years now.
That's correct.
Okay. So obviously there, like I say, every time I go down there and whatnot, it's Cuban flags, Puerto Rican flags, with the dust up that happened here the last couple of years with the government in Puerto Rico, you see a bunch of flags running around, hell, all the way up to Central Florida. As a matter of fact, you can see that. You can see them driving around with the flags up there in that case there. So what you're seeing are a lot of folk here who are emotionally invested in those places in particular. So when somebody tells you that the mindset or their mindset has changed or that they're only Americanized when they get here, when I see things like that, what I'm saying is, no, they brought that with them where they came from. The mindset hasn't really changed. Or do you feel that's the same, or am I overstating it?
No, it's that the same people. I mean, what the hell makes a guy think that the 20-year-old chick that was on January in Cali, Colombia, is going to be different from the next year? And I can't tell you the amount of stories I know from guys that go down there. Some of them Hispanic, and some of them born in Colombia, born in Venezuela. They come here after 5-10 years of hard work. They get their papers, they get their green card, they become citizen, and then they go back there to get a wife a younger woman, a younger girl, they're 32 and they bring back a 21-year-old. The moment that woman gets the green card, half of the time she's gone. I mean, it happens so many times. It happens to so many guys. And you don't even need like inside info for this. You just gotta like use your brain and think for a second. What the hell makes you think that these badass chicks walking around Colombian women are Colombian and Venezuela, but especially Colombians, are very feminine. They're experts at knowing what a man likes, and they're there walking like $1 million down there in Colombia. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect nails, and you think that they are what? Like they have like this.
That she was just born that way.
Yeah, they think that it's like that you are going to be the first guy there, and also they're more experienced than the guys. That some of these guys go there for the first time, and they're dealing with this chick who is like playing them, and she has done that like 15 times. She has done it to 15, 20 guys, and he's there for the first time thinking that he found a diamond in Colombia, that he found a diamond in Venezuela. Is more dangerous than that. I mean, Venezuelans are notorious for. Venezuelan women are famous in Latin America, in South America now with all the trouble that their country has, for tricking men, and the money goes to the boyfriend or the husband. They're famous for that. All over in Peru, in Chile, like women are pissed off at Venezuelan women because they're like, oh shit, here comes the Venezuelan. It's the same thing as similar to what happens in Europe with the Ukrainian women. Like European women hate Ukrainian women because when the Ukrainian women come, the boyfriend's gone. So same thing happens in South America. It's just and it's funny because like these guys, I mean, I'm not saying the women over there are better or worse. I'm just saying it's the same thing. What the hell makes them think that the same issues you have with women here, you're not going to have them there? The problem is when it hits them hard, and it hits them at every level. I don't know if you remember towards the end of the Obama administration how some Secret Service guys got in trouble.
Yeah,
they thought they were partying with Colombian women. At the next day, they were owing $800 to each. So like these guys, are better. And when they come back, they're not going to tell the failures. They're not going to tell the times that they lost their money. They're not going to come saying, "Oh yeah, man, it sucked." No, they're going to come telling these fake stories.
Well, that's my whole point is when you try to make the statement that, oh, well, she's from Nicaragua, she is from Venezuela, she's from Brazil, she's from Chile, she's from Colombia, as if they just came in from Mars or something. I'm like, dude, they got Gucci, they got Gucci stores in all these places. They got, Chanel stores in all these places. They got everything that you can get in most of what you can get in Miami, you can get it there too. Now, it might be in smaller areas. It might not be as widespread, but there isn't any of these luxury items that you can't get there, that are not already set up and established there, and that they have access to already. So this idea that as long as I don't say the word Chanel, if she's from Venezuela, she won't know what it is a fantasy, or that she won't want it. As long as I don't say that, she don't want it. They already want it. And what I'm saying, the gaslighting is from fellas coming on YouTube or elsewhere and acting as if these chicks aren't already hip to the game. They're hip to the game. Man, they were hip to the game back in the 70s. It really blew up in the 80s. And today, is anybody who thinks it's otherwise is just fooling themselves. And, all you have to do is just take one trip to Miami. You will find a bunch of first generations letting you know, hey, they're already on deck, ready, and looking to see what they can get.
I just want to say one more thing. The globalization, the way economics have changed, the days of going to these countries and thinking that your dollar is going to get you all the way. No. Those days are gone, and it goes for Latin America and it goes for Asia too. Back in the day, maybe 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, you could go with a couple $1,000 and spend a month there, and women would throw themselves at you because those countries were very poor. But now those days are gone. Now, this is why these guys are going there for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. The days that were gone for 6 months, that's over. That's over. This is why these trips that these guys are taking, they come back in 2 weeks. They come back in 2 weeks. They save up for a whole year. Then they come back talking about how over there is so nice and women understand men and women are so. No, bro, you're just getting played. And you know what? In the back of their mind, deep inside, they know they're getting played. They know they're getting played.
Oh, they know they are, but I mean, they would rather rent the image of a status symbol in a place where they figure nobody will be able to go and verify it. than to actually develop the character traits necessary. Because the real thing is, the guys who were talking like this a decade ago, 15 years ago, they're still saying the same thing. It's not like they've ever, we talk about the carousel for the females. These guys have this fantasy carousel going on 2 decades now. Okay, at what point are they going to jump off of it and be like, okay, because my whole question was, and I'll leave it at this, if things were so much different there, and you saw that with your visit for a couple of weeks, why is it that the wedding chapels down there are not blowing off the doors where women get married every minute? If that's really what it is, if it's really so radically different, why isn't that the case? I'll let you have the last word.
No, that's it. The last thing I'm going to say, all of these guys, some of these guys thinking that you can go there and find not the green grass by like a forest on the other side. Bro, come to Miami and see how it is. You're going to find a lot of people that just move in here, and you're going to see what you see in Miami, you're going to see over there. Oh, plus it's dangerous, because it could be dangerous if you don't know who you're messing with. So yeah. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Yeah, that's a lot of risk to have to take there. That is a lot of risk. You got to be about that life. Let me go ahead and bring in here Tyshawn. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Turn your camera on, turn your mic on, and go ahead and unmute yourself there. Waiting for Tyshawn to get that okay.
All right.
Thank you very much for giving us a call, Tyshawn. What is on your mind?
Hey, man, I just wanted to tap in with you because I saw the subject here, and I'm actually somebody who lives abroad. I've been living in Colombia since December. I moved out here. I picked up the language. There are some things that I agree with you on. There are some things that I don't. So I just kind of wanted to tap in and rap with you about it.
Okay. How old are you? Let's try again. How old are you?
Hello?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Let me try again. How old are you?
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry about that. I'm 34.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Let me try again. How old Problem is, I'm hearing myself now, so I'm not sure what you did there, but we don't need to hear me. You're 34 now. What brought you down there?
Well, I took a trip to Cartagena back in September. It was my first time visiting South America. I was well traveled before that. I've always had an affinity for Latin culture. I love salsa, love Latin jazz. But when I came here, man, hopped off that plane, it kind of was a life-changing experience for me. And the moment that I got a hold of the exchange rate to see how much money I was spending, I'm a software developer. I've been working from home for the last 5 years. I was in a position to do it. So I just made that jump. I took the trip in September, right the day or two before Christmas. I moved out here.
Okay. Do you have any children?
No.
Have you ever been married?
Yes, once.
Okay. How long ago was that?
Ooh, that was probably 4 or 5 years ago that ended.
Okay. So you said that you came down to Cartagena last September.
Correct.
Okay, so a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what about it was so different?
Well, when you travel outside of the country, it's just a different culture. It's a different feeling. The feeling that you get when you're there, you feel like things are stress-free. It's just, I don't know, man. Like for me personally, it's not that way for everybody, but just experiencing that different culture is
okay. Well, that's great and everything. That hasn't told me anything about the women, though.
What about them? The women are better than U.S. women. I mean, there's not much to say.
Define better.
You can, but let
me try this again. You're the one who said they're better than U.S. women. Okay, yeah, define better.
Better as in, okay, the women aren't inherently better, but what is better is the culture. I tell people this all the time. Women are women all over the globe. Okay. You still have to deal with certain things like having to be a mind reader because women aren't always direct.
There
Certain
you
things like
go.
that translate across every culture, right?
And
But
that's the whole point we've been making. So anybody who sells the idea that quote these women are different or better, they need to define what's better about them. So the women are not better, the culture is better. Okay.
the culture,
Now what about the culture allegedly is
mhm.
better?
The women are they take care of their man. If you've ever dated one, not the Americanized ones, I don't give a shit about them being, excuse my language, sorry, but I don't care about them being first generation off the plane. In New York, it's not the same. I'm from Florida. I spent significant time in Miami and in South Florida where it's just as diverse, and you get a lot of that too. And it's not the same. What is better about the culture, for example, I have a living girlfriend here. I actually taught myself the language. I'm in school for it now, becoming like extremely fluent, conversational at the moment. My girlfriend does happen to speak some English very well, but I've dated women here who don't speak a lick of English. That was a struggle, a little bit with the translator until I really got a hold of the language. But I think I see it from both sides. So my living girlfriend, she has a job, and I'm a man. I'm a provider. I'm gonna be a man regardless of what woman is attached to me. So I stand on this.
So you didn't have women that you could provide for here in America?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm waiting to hear. I'm gonna have to make this quicker here. We're still waiting to hear what the
Okay.
quantitative difference
So
is.
so my girlfriend has a job. She wakes up every morning, cooks me breakfast without asking. I work from home. She see me on my laptop. She come in, get right to it. Coffee and breakfast is made. She goes to the gym. She comes home, cooks me lunch. Then she goes off to work, does her thing, and comes back. And if I'm hungry, she'll cook dinner. Most of the time, no, we just go out to eat. You know what I mean? Get a little break. I don't feel like being in the house all day. Certain things like that.
It's a
Certain
lot of
things like
eating. A lot of eating
we went
going
on.
on. There's a lot of
We
eating
went
going on.
on.
That's great, but here's my issue.
I'm
Once
not.
again, I'm hearing the things you just named. Are
Right.
you saying that that's not commonplace in America?
Are you saying it is? Because I think everybody.
Yes,
No,
yes,
it's not.
yes.
Maybe okay. So maybe for your age range, maybe back in the 70s and 80s or whatever, like women from my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation, yeah, that was a completely different story. But when you're talking about these modern women that are 30 or younger, 35 and younger, no, that is not the culture in the
Okay,
U.S.
let me find out a couple of things here, so we can make sure that we're comparing apples to apples in this regard. How far? You say your girlfriend lives with you. How
Correct.
far from where you live does she work, or does she telework also?
No, she works close in the area,
Okay, so within a mile or two, because for her to
within
come,
within 5 miles.
okay, because for her to come and make you lunch every day, she would have to be very close by to be able
Mhm.
to do that on a regular basis. That would be a heck of an inconvenience.
Well, I
So,
mean, I got plenty of receipts to prove it, man.
well,
And
no,
anybody who knows me
I can't.
definitely.
I'm not disputing. I'm not disputing it because I can't dispute it. I'm just saying that mathematically, logistically speaking, that would, if I worked for DoorDash and had to do that every day, that would be, to have to leave my job. And I'm
Hmm.
assuming, was a 30-minute lunch break. I guess
Hmm.
she's coming off of her lunch break to come make something for you on yours.
That's correct. And you know why you don't see that or experience that? Because you're in America. And I
Okay,
think that's what I'm trying to get
let me
across.
correct you, sir. I didn't say I don't see it. I'm saying the math of what you're saying. Didn't say I don't see it. I've had that myself a few times. You get over it. My real thing though is that the real issue though is that mathematically that's going to be logistically very difficult. And now, even if you do have that, if that's what I'm saying, there's a whole lot of eating going on. And I'm from Louisiana, so we love our food there too. That's a wonderful thing. I don't think that makes her better
Um,
unless you just
well,
place an extremely high premium on having your meals made.
I
So
mean,
I
what do you place a high premium on in a woman? Because everything that I'm looking for, I get. Whereas in America, no matter how much money you make, no matter how eligible you are, those things are a struggle because of feminism and Western culture.
but
You preach about this stuff all the time on your
feminism is
show, so I
global.
don't, sir, with all due respect. if you've ever lived overseas, is the only time that you can actually have a valid assessment of that. Because
sir, that's like saying if you don't live in New York, you can't have a valid assessment of New York.
You can't because you don't live there. So what are you supposed to do? Take everybody else's word for something that you've never experienced? That makes no sense.
Sir, if by definition, you didn't have to live in Cartagena to make the decision you wanted to be there. So you didn't have to live there first.
But
just going there was enough.
But me being able to speak to you about the real reason why I left is because of the foreign earned income tax exclusion, which states if you're an American citizen living in a foreign country for 330 days in a calendar year, the first $112,000 you make is tax-free. And that goes up every year with inflation. I'm single. I have no kids. I told you I'm a software developer and I work 2 jobs. So I make a lot of money and I'm getting tired of Uncle Sam kicking my butt. So that's the biggest reason why I left, was more so about money. The women just happen to be an extra.
Well, sir, I'm a bit older than you are. I've been doing that part of the game, making money a lot longer. If you have to leave America to keep your money, you need a new CPA. Is all I'm going to tell you. And if you didn't figure it out by yourself, I don't know what to tell you.
Listen,
you need a new CPA.
I have a LLC. All of my travel over here is expensed. All of my meals are expensed. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Well, I don't have to go down. I don't have to itemize anything here. I'm just going to say, if somebody's going to tell me to stay ahead of Uncle Sam, they had to do something. What you're doing, he needs a new CPA.
No, what you're telling me is that you haven't made enough money for that to be an issue yet. That's what that says.
Sir, I am one of the few people in the world that you can actually take a look and see when my projects do things. You can actually see it. So you're a guy nobody knows.
It don't matter who knows.
Sir,
I got receipts, I got W-2s.
Sir, you're a guy that nobody knows making all kinds of claims.
Bro,
mine are not claims, sir. I can show mine.
W-2, do you want to see my travels? You could go look on my IG page and see exactly what I'm up to. So the fact that you just want to discredit the stuff that I'm saying.
Sir, nobody's discrediting anything. But if you're going to try to sit up here and make a claim about how much money you make and you can't deal with the IRS, that's a sign of either incompetence or fiction.
No. It's not a sign of incompetence. It's a sign of a man who has options and is exercising.
Sir, if you make $2 million a year and you cannot retain 75% of that, no matter where you live, you're incompetent or your CPA is incompetent. One or the other, sir.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Sir, if you make $2 million a year or less and you cannot retain 75% of it, you are incompetent or your CPA is incompetent. Which one is it? Because you sure don't make $2 million a year. So which one is it?
And I'm sure you don't either. But listen, the issue is,
sir, you know what? If I'm being polite, because if I really wanted to go a different way with it, I'd pull your broad, is what I would do.
You really couldn't.
Sir, I'm taking a look at you right now. There ain't much to you. If you got to get veneers, to pull a chick in Cartagena, there ain't much to you, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
There really ain't. There ain't much to you. If you got to get veneers to pull a Cartagena chick, you've already told on yourself. Come back on amateur night, kid.
Get a plane ticket and actually travel. Because have you even been to Cartagena?
Sir, I could tell you all about travels if Miss Kamala Harris, tell me about what I'm saying is wrong. I'm not going to detail my travels because unlike you, I am important.
No fucking receipts.
Sir,
that's why you can't
my receipts are at the Department of Homeland Security, sir.
Yeah,
I've got congressmen and senators who've talked about me. They don't know who you are.
All right.
I've got former presidents and billionaire presidential candidates who've talked about me on camera on CNN. Who are you? Who is Tyshawn Jones?
Name drop a lot of people too, but that shit ain't got nothing.
You can't name drop anybody.
Who cares?
You can't.
Who cares?
Sir,
what is a name drop? How does a name drop help your bank account? Like, who cares?
Exactly. And how does being in Cartagena,
claiming and fronting,
help you?
It's
Thank
mad
you.
cheaper. You saving money on taxis. You saving money on food. You saving money on Uber. You're saving money on dates. Everywhere you go.
And you give up everything else.
So if you can't, why would I have to give it up? I still have vehicles in the States. I have a boat that's paid for. You're not talking to some broke dude. I got options. Now,
sir, I don't know if you're not broke. I don't know if you're not broke or not, but you give off the air that it's not really real. But I will tell you one thing. The richest people in the world ain't making a beeline to live in South America.
I don't care what the richest people.
Okay, then don't tell me about how great it is to be there.
This is what I'm doing.
If that was a prime way to save money, then the richest people in the world would be making their way there, sir.
And all I'm doing is letting you know that the stuff that you're spewing on this channel, you need to actually have some receipts or some relevant experience.
You are my receipt. Sir, you're my receipt. Sir, you're my receipt. There isn't a single female who's watching right now who would be knocking herself over saying, hey, I need to get to Cartagena to be with Tyshawn as opposed to a dude in Houston. I mean, there is no exponential benefit.
I don't judge other males' looks like that for me to be able to have
Didn't say about looks, sir. You haven't named anything that is quantifiably exponentially better. That's the point that you don't get. You haven't named anything. My girlfriend, I have a living girlfriend who cooks for me when she wants to. Dude, everybody got that. I had that at 19.
And where's the fucking receipts? Because all you doing is talking on the internet. You don't even show your face. So where are the receipts?
Why don't you give me your broad's phone number?
Bruh. You couldn't pull it if you wanted to.
Wanna bet, Tyshawn?
I can promise you that with everything in me.
Sir, it's not about everything. It's not about you. You need to be worried about.
Come get off the plane, and then you'll see. That's all I gotta say.
Email me your broad's phone number, and I'm gonna make email me your broad's phone number, and I'm gonna make a YouTube short when I pull her. And guess what? My nice teeth don't need no veneers.
That's a lot of, fake
stuff. Look, just send me her digits, and I will pull her in front of everybody else.
To talk reckless behind the computer.
Sir, American Express is not reckless.
If everything was face to face.
Sir, American Express is not reckless, and I'm not gonna sit here and trade. I'm not gonna sit here and trade air with you, homie. Text me your broad's number. She won't be your broad very much longer. And you know that.
It sounds good for your audience, but we know the truth.
And the truth is, if she's real, she'll like a man who doesn't have to pay for his teeth. Go ahead and send me the broad's number. And she won't be yours very much longer. He's acting like his high-class dude. She's in Cartagena. If you don't sit your ass down with all this damn internet fronting, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere. What the hell? He's talking like we dealing with some chick from Dubai or from West England or something. It's a chick in Colombia. Dude, if you don't quit. She comes home and cooks lunch for me. We can't verify it, but okay, fine. Well, that's it right there. All right. Look, these are little fellas who've never dealt with a grown-ass man before. Dude, if you can't keep 75% of your income away from the IRS, you're incompetent, period. There's no getting around it. More likely, there's something else going on. In the chat room, Shlomo, by the way, you're right. I mean, I literally spend this guy's yearly income on billboards with political activism out of my own damn pocket. Dude, I don't want to compete to be you. I'd have to step down so far. My receipts are international in front of the world. I've got presidential candidates, multi-billionaires, newscasters, U.S. representatives. Nobody knows who Tyshawn is till he talked to me. Let's be very clear. He's going to pick up a couple of broads. You know I talked to Jason Black, right? Yeah, dude, you're gonna be able to go ahead and front for some more chicks based off of knowing me. I can't use your name anywhere and get somebody to pay attention to me. You know, I know Tyshawn Jones. You do? Ooh, there's not a female on this planet who's like, oh, you know Tyshawn? I didn't know you knew him. Yeah, I sure do. We go way back. Nigga, please. Please. They get used to talking to these broads all crazy. They get used to talking to them. They get used to talking to them crazy, and then they get in front of other grown men and don't know that dude, you're not going to educate me about taxes or anything. Expat taxes, you're not going to educate me about that. I got 2 CPAs who take care of that. That's insane. That is insane, but okay. Flex on them little broads with that. Flex on them little broads with that. These are your passport bros, y'all. Daniel, your phone keeps going in and out. What are you doing? Okay, Daniel is not hearing me apparently or something. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring Austin in here. Daniel, we're going to put you back in the waiting room here. I don't know what's going on here. Austin, go ahead and unmute yourself. Says he's trying to connect it. And I understand. They go down there and stuff, and they think if nobody can verify and stuff, they'll just make all kinds of wild, crazy claims. Okay, go ahead and make your claims if you think that makes you feel better. Go ahead and do that. But it's not going to work in that regard. Austin, go ahead and unmute yourself. Last try. If you don't, we're going to go ahead and boot you. So, okay, Austin, you are looking like the backseat from the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise. It's too dark in there, so if you're doing something in that car that is not legal, I need you to go ahead and get your life together. All right, let's go ahead and put you back in the waiting room. In the meantime, here, let me go ahead and get a couple of phone calls here. Let me get caller from area code 281. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Prince out of Richmond, Texas.
Prince out of Richmond, what's on your mind?
You know, if I could give it from a military perspective, you know, I was in the military in the 80s and the 90s, and you never hear military men talk like this. You never hear us talk like this. You never hear us talking about we're going overseas to find us a wife. That's not a common thing. You don't see a whole bunch of us bringing women back. Once you're over there for some years, you know, I've been in Europe, in different places, and stayed for years. You get to see what's going on. First, you only have access to certain women if you're around a military base. You only have access to certain women if you're around a tourist place. And those women, some of those that's coming from the villages, you can't go back up in those villages. It's dangerous. You could die. And a lot of them, they'll be 20, 25 years old and have 3, 4 kids, but they come into the club. See, Jason, what you didn't hear that the guy kind of irritated me. You were talking to a few minutes ago. He's not talking about legacy. All the women act nice, and let me tell you something. In Korea, $20 back in the day, they get you the whole weekend. They'll iron your uniforms and polish your boots. Everything. And this is before the internet. So military men have no delusion on about what's going on. Some of them fall, they catch feelings for some of these women, but most of the women they're going to be dealing with is going to be either prostitutes or slutty women. I can almost guarantee you that Tiger Woods' dad didn't meet his mom in a chapel. I'll say that. Okay? The ones that they have access, these women that are coming around, they're a certain type of women. And yes, there were soldiers always getting caught, not always, particularly the white guys, messing with these underage girls in certain countries. And that was mainly like in the Asian countries. They try to handle it as discreetly as possible. But Jason, I just don't understand. What are they talking about? What are they talking about with these women, these so-called women that exist, that these are perfect women, but they're not talking, they can't buy land in most of these countries.
Well, no, they're not buying anything. The real thing is, in the current age, what it's about is being somebody who can grab something that they can pretend is a status symbol that is unverifiable. Then you then turn around and come back to individuals. It's like these fellows who come from these neighborhoods with dudes buy shoes they can't afford. They buy rims they can't afford. So they can go flex. There are poor people trying to flex in front of other poor people. This is a situation of individuals with poor information flexing on other individuals with poor information. So think of it in that regard. This is
And
the
if-
digital equivalent of rims you can't afford and shoes you can't afford. Let me go down to Colombia, pretend that I'm doing something I'm not actually doing here, and then go to some guys who can't verify it, cannot verify it, and then go ahead and claim I got everything balling out of control. That's what it becomes there. And the bad part about it is what they're really trying to do is avoid improving themselves. You and I both know there's not a damn thing going on in Colombia. There's really not. If you're a young person, you're a young person just hanging out. Okay, he's been let him tell the tale. And he's been laying up with some chick he went down there a year. Don't know how long. By the way, if he got a chick to move in with him in less than a year, dude, get an alarm system. That's the first thing I'm going to say is get an alarm system and watch yourself down there. But the other thing is that's not a flex. It's not a flex because it's obvious what you're doing. So he's coming around grown men thinking that we're going to be as easily impressed by his obvious shallow situation as fellas younger than him. He's in his early 30s and he thinks he's trying to impress a bunch of 25-year-olds and 22-year-olds. Now he's come to some dudes. Right. He's come to dudes in their late 40s and he thinks he's going to impress us by saying the name Cartagena or Medellin. You think you're going to impress us. And it's just like, okay, what I'm taking a look here is, first of all, if your broad got enough time to leave work and come cook for you at lunch, that's a problem. Yeah. Jason, now I thought you said you had that. Yeah, don't you see I ain't got them? Don't you see I ain't got them? If she's got time like that, she ain't Prince. You know damn well if she got time like that, she ain't making no money. She's got a job where she ain't making no money. Let's be very, very clear about that. If your broad got enough time to take off of work for an hour, she ain't making no money. That's not a job of any consequence. He's acting like she's some damn county administrator or something. Dude, she got time to take off for 2 hours and come cook enchiladas for you. That's not a job of any consequence. What kind of game you think you pulling? That's why he wanted to hurry up and get off the phone when I started talking about that. I'm like, let's talk about that lunch thing for a moment. Yeah, dude, that's not anything of any consequence. You ain't flexing on anybody. You're not flexing on anything. That works on 21-year-olds who aren't doing the math. That's why I was like, wait a minute, this math doesn't work. This isn't some great situation because the math you're giving doesn't work. This works on little young boys who can't do the numbers quickly enough. You're talking to a grown-ass man who's done this several times. Dude, this is your first rodeo. It's not mine. I got a damn traveling circus. This is your first time at the big top. I'm Ringling Brothers. You're the class clown. Let's keep it very, very straight. So when you say those kind of things, that sounds cute to a 21-year-old. That doesn't sound cute to a dude going on 50 talking about, dude, we know that doesn't work. That works for young chicks whose her job ain't about nothing. Yeah, she can go ahead and lay up under you. And by the way, if he was able to get her to move in with him in less than a year, she ain't got nothing popping. He's been down there for a year. You figure if he met her 6 months ago, she's already moved in. That's a chick who need a place to stay. Now, I wouldn't go in on him because I'm like, okay, just in case she's sitting there and stuff, I don't want to make her break down crying. But let's be very, very clear. If you've been talking to a broad for 6 months and she's already moved in with you, she needs a place to stay. While you trying to act like something really big is happening, that chick just needs a place to stay.
And that don't make sense because a lot of my veteran brothers that's down there, Vietnam, Desert Storm, they don't move them girls and they flat. They dealing with a whole bunch of them. You got Vietnam veterans down there with 10 and 20 of those girls, those ladies. You understand? He don't understand. You really touched his soul when you said if you got on the phone, he knew you were telling the truth. You got on the phone.
I broke his. Well, let's be very clear. I broke his soul when I said, by the way, I pull broads like that, and I don't need veneers. By the way, now if he really wanted to make that, I wasn't going to go there with him until he started trying to be condescending and being insulting. But I'm like, by the way, dude, do you see how quickly I pulled your damn card? Now, if I'm sitting there in front of your chick, she's sitting there giggling about you too, by the way. If you are so insecure about yourself that you need to get veneers at 34, shout out salty people. Shout out some salty people who are real salty with me lately. But by the way, if you in your damn early 30s and you need veneers, that tells me all I need to know about you. I could pull your broad if my teeth look like Flavor Flav, and they don't. But if they did, I could still pull your broad. You have to sit up here and go through a bunch of hoops and hurdles. So that tells me, yeah, you need that extra boost. Dude, a man who's on his game doesn't need all that. A young fella who's trying to rent his way and lease his way through life, yeah, he needs it because he thinks he needs it. But if you were the bag, if you were already on your square and you were the bag, you wouldn't need all this cosmetic assistance. You need it because you are insecure. You're insecure because you failed in America. So you've gone somewhere else and said, I'll reinvent myself. Let me get some twiggy hairstyle. Let me get some veneers. Let me get some weird ass headphones. And then let me go call up a grown ass man. Let me go call up a grown ass man on Friday night and try to tell him what I know. When I'm like, dude, please, how many documentaries have I made now with certified millionaires and billionaires? None of them needed that. None of them. We're all looking at you like, dude, if you don't stop, this Instagram thing has got these young men messed up. It really, really does. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. If I really wanted to break his soul, y'all saw me snap him in half with one sentence. One sentence and he was snapped in half. That was it. So I'm just saying, the chick you with, that's cool. Y'all on your little teeny bopper thing at 34. You on your little teeny bopper thing, that's good. What I'm saying is that's the kind of dude who has to go down there and do that. That's what he's talking about. Where are your receipts? You're my receipt. You are. You're my proof that there's only a certain type of dude who does that because you have to get it how you live.
Here's the key to all you young men. They're flexing from a distance for a reason. The reason he has to flex from a distance, Jason, I'm not hyping him up, but if he's the bag here in the United States. He's the bag when he come to Houston, when he go to New York, when he go to Europe. He's the bag anywhere. How in the world you just going to be the bag in a little village or a country that's so-called economically deprived, so-called from what they're saying? Okay, if you the bag, you the bag. A lot of these dudes couldn't bring these women back. I'm military, know the horror stories. We told these guys, don't marry her. Yeah, she's beautiful. Bring her back. She's having sex with all the family members. He said, why you having sex with all my cousins? Because they're family and I want to treat them. They don't understand when they've lived that slum culture, because you got to understand all these places. Germany, when I was over there, I think Czechoslovakia had failed right afterward the wall came down while I was over there. These places, there's a lot of slums. There's a whole bunch of European slums. There's slums in Asia. People act like this stuff is all beautiful. Once you leave out the developed areas, you're going to find slums everywhere. Now, Jason, if I'm lying, let me know.
Worldwide. That's what I'm saying. American culture is worldwide. Slums are worldwide. So when somebody tries to come back here and tell me that they're balling out of control in places that I know got issues like that, dude, you trying to sell me a story on YouTube. Don't nobody be crazy enough to go out there and try to live this mess. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. One person was on the line because my mods had to hear the area code 682 was on the line, but they are not on the line anymore here. So if they don't get back on the line where they're supposed to be, that'll be a different matter. Lene Marie in the chat room, you need to go ahead and give us a call up here. You're asking questions in the wrong place. You need to ask your questions over here. Caller from area code 808, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Ben in Winnipeg by way of the west side of Chicago.
All right, Ben in Winnipeg by way of Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a few comments when you were saying about the travelers in Asia and Central America. What I've noticed is that the younger brothers, they tend to go to the DR in South America and Central America, while the older brothers tend to go to Southeast Asia, where you get some of the brothers that are retired military on a pension. And as far as with the pedophile stuff, that I haven't seen too much with the brothers. That's more that always kind of falls back on the whites that are into that type of stuff.
Now, here's my thing. As far as being widespread, you may be correct about that. I'm talking about the fellas who are constantly talking about it now. Let's be very, very clear. Sex, when you got dudes who they're so lame that they can't pull in America like that, when they become sex tourists, eventually it degenerates into other things. Just understand, because the stuff that was satisfying them before, after a while, it's not going to satisfy them anymore. So let's be very, very clear. While it might not represent a numerical majority, these fellas who are always talking about that all the time, and that's just their thing to be discussing, no, we need to keep an eye on them. Because we're talking about places that you and I both know. I mean, they got State Department advisories in some of these places. Watch out for being kidnapped. That's why I'm like, when I see dudes go down to Mexico and stuff like that, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You go down.
Yeah,
I mean, even the
porn.
moment you go through the damn port of entry down there, and sometimes they don't even have guards there. But the moment you go through the port of entry, dude, it's miles and miles. You're on your own. In a place where everybody who knows, if you've been to Mexico and stuff, they tell you go to the resorts, don't go outside of it. Same thing in Jamaica. So if you're an American and you're outside of those resort areas and you don't live there, why are you doing that? You're risking your life. No, what is it that's so important, so critical, something that is so valuable, you can't get it in America, and you're willing to go risk your life in Mexico or Jamaica for it, or in Thailand? What's so incredible in Colombia that you're willing to risk your life for it? And all I can narrow it down to is there must be something illegal. Now, if it ain't drugs, then what is it?
Yeah, you end up recognized too now. What I see with a lot of the young guys that go there, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them that I've seen, like in the South America and that type of stuff, are a lot of goofies. You get a lot of goofies go down there doing the most. And a lot of these guys don't eat in the States. That's the only time, because a lot of them are freaking flyers. They go back and forth to the DR, Colombia on the regular, because they don't eat in the U.S. That's the only time they eat, is when they're in those places. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Well, like I say, we've entered an era where individuals are trying to sell people on things, and they're hoping that the folks they're talking to don't know any better. That's the thing about it. So when you start asking questions about these kind of things, like, dude, you tax purposes, I make a lot more than you, and I've never needed to leave the country to save on taxes. You need a new CPA. Just pro tip, you need a new CPA. I make more than you. I seriously doubt it. Based on just everything, I'm just looking at you. I doubt it. But what I will say here is that, yeah, they're hoping that other folks don't see those kind of things. They're hoping they don't see that.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, nobody's going to say they're going down there just to trick. You know, everybody has a business. Everybody makes six figures.
They're all millionaires. We have all these so-called affluent men just hanging out in Colombia. Get the hell out of here. We got all these allegedly affluent males hanging out.
Developer.
They're so affluent that they are scared to spend an extra $20,000 in taxes. He's so affluent that another $20,000 in taxes will break him. He's so affluent. Get the hell out of here. They're selling wolf tickets. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Okay, it looks like Austin has got his lights, camera, action together. I don't know if you want to drive around like that, brother. The police might pull you over for DUI, so I don't want that to occur. Go ahead and speak.
I'm fine. All right.
I don't want to get you in a bind. It's a Friday night and you got the lights on in the cabin in the car, so I don't want you to make the news, but what's on your mind?
No, I'm fine. I'm down to people now. Thank you for bringing me on. But I do want to say, yes, feminism is all around the world. But I think we can both agree that the United States is the home of feminism, and the biggest population of feminists is going to be in the United States, right?
No, because feminism, as we call it, is a part of female nature. So when you're talking about isolated elements, for example, when we talk about matriarchy, you find a stronger matriarchal culture in Japan than you've ever found in America. And that one is historical, going back to Edo and going back to the shogunate. That in Japan, you have a much stronger matriarchal culture, and those women run those societies over there to the point that the men are chasing video game women. So if you talk about feminism, we're really talking about female nature codified into a social or political structure. So I would suggest to you, actually, to the contrary, I can show you places where that is much stronger than in America.
Okay, well, can we agree that birth control and abortions are part of feminism?
Well, sure.
That's not female nature. It's not natural to take a birth control pill. What are you talking about?
No, what is natural is to want to exercise power and control. And females
not for women. Women do not handle power. They have the ability to be in power positions. They're not in power positions in abundance.
No, sir. Okay, let me say this one more time. Control, sir. Control. Women as a group do not want power, which is what you just said, because with power comes responsibility. Women, however, do want control. So what they want is benefits without accountability. So I'm using these words correctly in their proper context. No, what you said is power. I said control for a reason. So yes, they want to control who gets born. When they talk about what the so-called second wave and third wave feminists figured out is, don't you realize we can control who is born? That's a hell of a lot of leverage to be able to use if we're willing to become very wicked people. Well, guess what? There's a element of the female psyche that turns in that kind of vein. I'm going to use the word wicked way. And they found a lot of women who are willing to sign on to it if it gives them quote unquote control. So then you have the laws start to shift to say, okay, the babies ain't people, but we're going to give you autocratic control and rights if you can have a baby. So now you've got all kinds of control that you didn't have before. Now it's been politicized and weaponized in a way that there was no legal framework before. There wasn't even a social framework. That's what you're seeing now is individuals exercising control. That has always been an element of female nature.
Okay, and I also heard you say that the women want to come back to the United States. Is that right?
That the women want to come back to the United States?
Yes.
Which women are we referring to?
Foreign women. I've traveled.
Yes, sir.
I'm a person that travels.
Right now, the governor of Texas between the governor of Texas and the governor of Arizona, they have transported over 10,000 people who've come across the border from Mexico to DC, Chicago, and other states. So right now, America is one of the only places on earth.
I live in Texas.
Okay,
I know.
Slow down. America is one of the only places on earth where people by the hundreds of thousands risk their lives to come to I'm saying hundreds of thousands. The number now is actually millions to illegally enter. Sir, this isn't even a question. Yeah, they coming from all over to get over here. Yes, sir.
Yes, I know that. I live in Texas. I'm aware of the population. There are a lot of illegal Mexicans. But I can tell you, from going to Brazil, I've been to Brazil and Colombia. I've been out 3 times a year. I'm actually about to go out again in 6 weeks. There are not a majority of women in those countries that are dying to get a green card. I even have footage of this on my YouTube channel. From the guy that you said that had veneers and was a lame ass, that dude, his girl, I met her. I have her on video and 5 of her other girls confirming this.
Send me your phone number.
How do you do that? I don't know how to use Zoom.
You don't have to do it over Zoom, sir. My email address is handlethebusiness@yahoo.com. And by the way, he won't be your friend very much longer. Just you've been properly warned about that. He won't be your friend very much longer.
Why do you say that? At handlethebusiness@yahoo.com?
Yes, sir. And you said you're a friend of his?
Yeah, I just met him recently for the first time.
Well, now why am I not? That's why I said you're a friend of his. I just met him recently. Yeah, there you go.
The thing is, I have his girl and her friends contradicting everything you just said.
Sir, just send the digits. Just send the digits. How old are you, kid?
23.
There you go. Now, y'all, remember what I just said a few moments ago. You've got dudes in their early 30s saying these fraudulent things to impress dudes in their early 20s. Excuse me. To anybody who thought I was making that up, by the way, hey, I know that dude. We friends. Yeah, the guy in his early 30s is impressing the naive, impressionable dude in his early 20s. Did I call it? Or did I call it?
No, sir, you didn't call it. I've been wanting to go to Brazil since I was 6 years old.
Okay. Why on earth would a black male want to go to Brazil since, quote, 6 years old? Where are you people from?
Well, my mother's from New Orleans.
Okay, where's your dad from?
He's from Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm born and raised in Louisiana, lived in Dallas, Texas. No, there's none of us who ever wanted to go to South America at 6 years old. What you trying to pull? What did you know about? What did you even know about South America?
What is that? Proving?
What did you know about South America at 6 years old from a mother from New Orleans?
I'm very intelligent, so I guess maybe I just know about the geography.
Okay, that's not an answer, sir. What did you know about Brazil at 6 years old, sir?
At 6 years old, we had the internet, so I had access. I've always liked the light-skinned, curly-haired women that they have down there.
Okay,
you might be too old.
So what you knew about Brazil at 6 years old was they had light-skinned women's.
Yeah, and I grew up, and when I started dealing with the bullshit women here, I said, let me go try those.
Okay, let's back it up to 6 years old. I wanted to go to Brazil since I was 6 years old. What do you know about Brazil? Well, I saw cute women on there who claimed on the internet to be from Brazil. You haven't answered the question yet, by the way. He thinks he did, but he didn't.
So we're lying about if they were actually the photos I seen on. What kind of argument is that? No,
sir, I'm saying a photograph on the internet with no context doesn't give you any motivation to go to a place. I saw a woman who claimed to be from this place. She would have to be the good witch of the West for that to make such an impression on a 6-year-old, sir.
They look that good, yeah.
Why would at 6 years old, we're still talking about girls are icky and have cooties? What kind of household were you raised in?
I was watching pornography at 6. I wasn't the average 6-year-old, I guess.
Tell me more.
What do you want to know? My dick size? What are you talking about?
No, sir. You said that you were watching pornography at 6 years old. Tell me more.
I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I pretty much that's.
What kind of child rearing has a household where a 6-year-old is watching pornography to the point that they can desire Brazilian women?
Well, I mean, as long as you have access to the internet and your mother.
I know a bunch of people with access to the internet. 6-year-olds ain't watching porn at 6, sir.
Well, look. Google was around, so it was easy to find. I don't know what. That's not a solid argument.
No, it's no, sir. That's called child rearing. And I'm saying, tell me more about how you were raised. Because I'm from Louisiana, although I am from the civilized part in Shreveport. I'm from Louisiana. We wasn't watching porn at 6 years old. And by the way, by the time we had the internet, we wasn't doing that neither. So for a 6-year-old to be watching Brazilian women in porn and valuing that at 6 years old, now that's how they were raised. So tell me more about how you were raised.
No, I got my ass whooped for watching, so I don't think I was encouraged to watch it. I've been the person to do what I want.
I'm just trying to figure out here about the child rearing and the home environment that, would promote a 6-year-old watching porn. That's why I keep saying to you, sir, tell me more. Y'all, he doesn't want to tell me anything else now. I think we just had a veneers moment. We just pulled the card.
I don't, because it is what it is. Maybe I was an early bloomer when it came to sexual thoughts. You see sex on TV. There's movie scenes with sex. I guess, like I said, maybe I was just a little smarter and I was able to put 2 and 2 together and get on Google. I mean, let's talk about something, because this is like.
Man, let's keep talking about this. Now let's keep talking about this right here, because I want people to know the psychology and the character of these individuals claiming what's going on down there. So you just gave us a very good look into the psychology and character of the guys who do this international passport pimping. So that's why I want to stay on this. This gives us a good look into the character of them.
Well, I mean, what you're using is a broad technique of shaming. You know what I mean?
Sir, you're the one who said it. I didn't say it. You're the one who brought it up. I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. You didn't know that the 6-year-old watching porn is abnormal and perverted? You didn't know that? Y'all, he didn't know that. He thought that was normal.
So, how old were you when the internet came out?
Well, considering the fact that the DARPA project was the 70s, but if you're talking about CompuServe in America Online, that would be the late 80s.
How old were you whenever you could get on porn websites? How old were you when it came out?
Before you had the commercial internet, you had the BBS sites. So you figure probably around, 10, 12.
When you were 12, okay, that's usually around when puberty starts.
Okay, we weren't doing that then either. It was available. It was available and it was out there, but we weren't doing that. It was available. It was available and it was out there, but we weren't doing that.
Good. It's not on me that your hormones had a defect. My hormones worked when they were supposed to. Whenever I was 16, I think the highest sex drive I had ever had.
Now let's back up to 6. Let's talk about your hormones at 6 years old when you were watching porn at 6. Let's back up to that one. Y'all, he said it's normal for a boy to be watching porn and fetishizing Brazilian women at 6.
Yeah, grown Brazilian women. Yeah.
Who was your dad? R. Kelly? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about?
Sir, I don't even date women my age. Don't try to make it seem like I'm dating women under 18 or something like that. I don't even date women my age. How old are you?
Sir, I'm talking about when you were 6 years old watching porn, sir.
How old are you?
I am old enough to tell you all that this fella right here thinks that watching porn at 6 was normal sexual development behavior.
Okay.
Now he's telling you all he's going to lecture you all about the values of dating South American women. And I'm telling you, this is the character you have to have right here. This is his idea of normal sexual behavior. Now, how many of you want your 6-year-olds being raised under this set of values? And they talk about the values of women in Brazil and all these other places. By the way, these are the values. So I'm glad you called.
Enough values. I was raising up with enough values. Whenever I debate with a man, I get on camera.
Okay. Congratulations. You're not worth as much as me.
Okay.
Maybe if you ever turn off the porn for a couple of years, I can get you raised up to a different level. Although you're going to need a new circle of friends. I will have to say that. Things will have to be totally redone from the top down. But I'll tell you one more thing. In the world where I come from, this will be amazing to you. We don't have to see people to know what they're worth.
Okay.
Children like this think that they're making a point. The last 3 vehicles that I purchased, I literally only had to do it online. Nobody ever saw me. I didn't see the banker, and yet millions of dollars moved. Now, isn't that amazing? Now, in your world, you don't understand that. And that's okay. But when y'all get on the internet with this fake flexing and talking like you know what you're talking about, it really just makes them look bad. It really, really does.
No, I'm not fake flexing. But let's get back to the travel topic, because this is a never-ending shaming subject that you're trying to do. You say that the dudes going down there, they can't win at all in the States, right?
Most of you have jaded, perverted backgrounds. And in America, your particular form of kink is either illegal or the females don't really dig it. So yeah, they have to go run to other places where they can hide out and perform their particular practices.
So it seems like you know a lot about me. What do you think I had to go to South America for?
Well, a 6-year-old watching porn, I can only imagine what floats your boat now. I
lost my virginity to somebody in their 50s.
Okay, congratulations. I think
it wasn't a 6-year-old.
Unless you were 10 years old, congratulations, son. Do you think that impresses us over here?
No, but
okay, we're not impressed.
I would love you to use less words,
son. That doesn't impress us over here.
No, use less words. You talk for too long when you prove one subject. Just use a sentence or two. I'm done.
Okay. Sir, pervert, you. Short enough. There's a reason that fellas ain't following. There's a reason fellas ain't following you down there, because we already know the deal.
I was just down there and I met with a lot of Americans while I was down there.
Yeah, all of y'all are down there paying and tricking and everything else, and that's perfectly fine.
I did pay 2 times in Medellin. I did pay 2 times.
I'm sure you've paid a lot more.
No. I like to kiss women in the mouth, so I'm not just me running around here just paying.
I'm sure you got a CashApp and a Google Pay account. I'm sure you've paid a lot more.
I don't have Google Pay, but I do have a CashApp.
But here's the real issue: if you've paid even once, you're already a loser. If you paid even once, you're already a loser.
sometimes they just look that good where you say, I gotta fuck her in particular. And if she's so happy to charge, she's so happy to charge.
And if that female if your value isn't so high that if you looked at her and you said I gotta pull her, then if the feeling wasn't mutual, you're a loser.
No. There are billionaires that pay for prostitutes, high-end escorts. We're not gonna try.
They're losers too, like you.
Well, look,
if you looked at a chick who you claimed was so hot and you said, I got to have her, if she didn't look at you and have the same reaction, you had to break open your wallet, guess who just got defeated? The feeling should have been mutual. If that was the value that you took in her, with her looking at her, why didn't she take the same value just looking at you?
You know when a bitch is a prostitute, so there's not going to be no feeling. It's all just sexual feeling. But let me say
you couldn't pull a prostitute without paying?
They're a prostitute. That's their job.
Sir, let me go ahead and break a little bit of game to the lame crack little boys out there. By the way, did you know that you could pull a prostitute? Do you think that prostitutes only have sex with men that they pay for? The men who pay for it?
No, I know what you're talking about. But
so you're telling me you couldn't pull her regardless?
I can.
You didn't.
Because I don't have time.
Yeah, he never heard that, y'all. As I said, these fellas are new. They're lame. They don't know anything.
There are porn stars. Like, what's her name? Mia Khalifa. She has a loser for a boyfriend. Yeah, I know that sex workers can have boyfriends. She is a prostitute. She has sex and gets paid for it. Prostitute.
Yeah, but anyway, if you're paying when there's another guy who isn't, guess who? If you're paying and there's another man who isn't, guess who the lame is, son? I don't like being a lame.
Well, I'm not a lame, but anyway,
if you're paid, you're a lame.
I'm not traveling to South America for prostitutes. We travel to South America to get girlfriend experiences with actual feminine women. You're not going to convince me that the women in the United States are being raised to be feminine like they were 100 years ago.
What is the single mother rate in Colombia, son?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, because you're claiming that they're different down there than they are up here, and you don't even know what the single mother rate is down there.
I do know that there are a lot of single mothers, but that has nothing to do with them being feminine.
There's such a thing as a feminine single mother, sir?
That doesn't prove your point. That doesn't even prove your point.
So her being a single mother doesn't, you're saying that her being a single mother does not impact her value.
No, I never said that.
Okay, then her femininity is the core of her value. So if you're telling me that her value has been impacted, her femininity is taking a hit, sir. This is called math, kid.
No. Just because she's a single mother does not make her automatically masculine. Typically,
I didn't say masculine. I said it detracts from their femininity.
If she's not feminine, she's masculine. It's one or the other.
No, sir. You can have a high amount of femininity and you can have a low amount of femininity.
Which means you have more masculinity.
No, the absence of femininity doesn't necessarily translate to the presence of masculinity. You've got a lot to learn about life. This is called deductive reasoning.
If I describe a man and I say he's not that masculine, what is he, just space?
Okay. Here's the difference. If you have a guy, for example, compare Idris Elba to Steve Urkel. Neither one of them is feminine, but one of them is masculine and the other one's got low-level masculinity. You just learned something, kid. I'm gaming them up here tonight internationally. This is called deductive reasoning. When you have a unified ideology, you don't say silly crackpot things like this. No, sir, there's high levels of femininity and masculinity, and there's low levels of femininity and masculinity, but you don't have to introduce femininity to decrease masculinity. No, you don't.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no. Argue what I just said. No, take issue with what I just said. What about what I just said was wrong? Idris Elba is high-level masculinity. Steve Urkel is low-level masculinity, but neither one of them is feminine.
Would you say that masculinity means that you're the opposite? Okay,
that's a question. That's a question, sir.
No, I'm about to answer the question if you answer this.
Where's the error in what I just said? Let's answer my question first, and then we'll get to yours. Where's the error in what I just said? Where's the logical error in it?
It sounds like it's right until I say what I'm about to say.
It doesn't sound like it's right. It's either right or it's not.
Well, the way it was put in such a way that it sounded correct is not correct.
Okay, so he's saying it's wrong. Great. Tell me what's wrong with it.
Well, let me finish what I'm saying. So, would you agree that masculinity is assertive, not the opposite of soft, hard? Like it's firm. Is that masculine or feminine?
Now you're getting into the subject of soft power versus hard power.
Dude. Okay. Well, look. Anyway, we're traveling to South America to get the girlfriend experience. You're not going to get the girlfriend experience here. You're not going to get cooperation here. You can't convince me Jeff Bezos doesn't even get cooperation with his wife.
Mackenzie Bezos helped him to build a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Jeff Bezos threw that away for a Venezuelan single mom.
Who said it was single mothers? We're talking about just the women in general.
Okay, you brought up Jeff Bezos, sir. I just put it into context. The facts are troublesome things to those of you who are marginally informed. Jeff Bezos is a beta. His billionaire status doesn't make him an alpha. Jeff Bezos is a beta, just like most of the guys in the NBA.
So would you say the majority of women in the United States are cooperative?
No, the majority of women in the United States are women. Seriously? Novel concept for you.
Seriously. Cooperative. Cooperative meaning if I say, hey, can you hand me my phone when you're walking towards me? Hey, my phone's right there. Can you hand it to me? The average American woman is going to say you can do that yourself.
Have you ever thought that the average American woman simply responds to you like that?
Oh, here we go with the shaming. So now,
that's not shaming. That's not shaming. That's a question. That's a question. That's a question.
Now I need to work on myself.
I think you need something. But I don't know about that, sir. Where's the error in what I just said?
You're just like the women. So what you're saying is I need to beat this bitch to get her to listen.
No, sir. What I'm saying is that if you're telling me that this woman wouldn't do something for you, then by definition, you have to tell me that she wouldn't do it for anybody.
Yeah, they're not cooperative with anybody.
So you're telling me that these women are not cooperative with anybody, and I can sit here and show you. No, what they're saying is they don't want to do it for you. It's just
they're not cooperative with anybody.
They're just not cooperative with you. That there's something about you that they're not doing that for.
No. The majority of time in road rage, women are the aggressor. They're not cooperative.
Women are Karens around the world. I just stood up here and posted a video from China where these two Chinese women started fighting, and I'll be damned if one didn't punt the other woman's baby, and then the other woman came and kicked her kid. So you guys have this fantasy world of mythical women who don't act a certain way outside of America and only act that way in America.
No.
Facts are troublesome things.
So female nature, female behavior is more alike than it is different all around the world. But in the United States, it's on steroids. For example, hypergamy is on steroids. Hypergamy exists everywhere.
Hypergamy didn't begin in America.
I didn't say where it began. I said it exists.
Then we can't say it's the center of it. Then
I didn't say that. I said it's on steroids, meaning that here, for the average guy, you don't stand a chance.
Show me a place in the world where men don't have the exact same complaints that you do. Show me.
Brazil.
Sir, what's the marriage rate in Brazil?
I know it's higher than the United States.
How much higher than the United States do you think it is?
It's 19%.
And what do you think the single mother rate is in Brazil?
I believe I looked up, it was like 35%.
Okay. Now, he thinks that the marriage rate in Brazil is 19%.
I don't know, though, but I don't quote me on that single mother. I think that was...
No. Because if you're going to sit up here and make these statements of fact, then you need to be able to stand on that. So if you claim that the marriage rate in Brazil is higher, if you're claiming the marriage rate in Brazil is higher than the marriage rate in America, then you're telling me there's more wife material in Brazil than America. Okay, let's start with it about the marriage rate in Brazil being higher than America. Are you making that as a statement of fact, sir?
Sir.
Is the marriage rate in Brazil higher than the marriage rate in America, sir? You just said it was.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
And you think that the marriage rate in America is less than 19%?
Don't quote me on that, but I know damn well these bitches here ain't shit.
Everyone, this guy thinks that the marriage rate in America is under 20%. Now, that tells you that since he's been doing all this, he's never even bothered to consult Google. Common sense would tell you that 20% is way too low. Common sense would tell you that 20% is way too low.
Sir, we're not.
Common sense would tell you that 20% is too low.
Feminism is teaching women to not get married. And feminism is the worst in the United States.
Sir, feminism is female culture, and it's not any worse. In America, it's got the only thing that's worse in America is the financial component. The social component is identical.
90 seconds.
The social component is identical. The only thing that's different is the financial component. Because every time you guys sit up here and go on your spiels, the only thing that you talk about is how much it cost you.
What countries have you been to?
Enough to get a file at the Department of Homeland Security. How about you, kid?
Well, I'm on my 4th one this year.
I don't know about that, but I know that there's nobody at the Department of Homeland Security who has a file on you who you can look it up by name. I know you ain't got that.
I don't give a fuck about that.
Then I don't give a sir. If you think some teeny bopper going down to Colombia is impressing me, call me back when you're on a watch list, on a flight watch list. Call me back when you get there, kid. You're on amateur night. No, sir. What I'm saying is I've traveled enough that there are places I can't go to anymore. You on the other hand can visit every red light district you've been in for the last 10 years. I got places I can't go. Oh, no. Let me rephrase that. I can't go as easily as I used to be able to go. I can't go there as easily.
You are older than me, so I'll give that to you.
No, being older doesn't mean anything because most of these lames repeating that you learn this crap from are even older than me. What I am is more experienced. And I'm not talking about what I wish. I'm talking about what I know. If you have to pay for a woman's time anywhere on this earth, you've lost.
I'm not taking shit you say serious because you're not on camera.
Sir, I'm not taking you seriously because you're a 6-year-old. You said you were a 6-year-old watching porn, and I would never claim that.
You goddamn right.
Well, that's a testament to your mother's raising, and all I'm going to say is that's a hell of a spot to be in. But when you get around to sending the digits from what's-her-face, send it to my email. We'll be waiting to check that out. Or not. Everyone, he says that the marriage rate in America is less than 20%. I didn't fabricate that. The marriage rate in America is under 20%. I'm glad he called in. Wait. I'm glad he called in. No. I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad he called in because I wanted you all to see who would prove my point. He got on the phone and no sooner than he got there, he proved my point. So you all need to go ahead and, ask the right questions. If you ask the right questions, you get to the right answers that illuminate what you're talking about. Those are bad issues. Those are bad issues. Go ahead, hurry, step right up. Come on and defend this. I'm saying that guy, that is the typical passport bro. Those are the fellas that they are. I said it from the very beginning. Their whole lives revolve around fetishizing sex and sexual adventures. And you talking about, I started at a young age. Dude, that ain't normal. That's not normal. That's not all right. That's not all right, man. That's not normal. That's not good. There's no way in the hell that you have a positive feeling or interaction about females talking about I was watching porn at 6. And he thought that was normal. I get together with my dudes in these other groups in South America. Yeah, y'all are all about these perverts get together in groups. It's like the pedophiles in prison. They think their stuff is normal. I was watching porn at 6. Hell, I was watching it at 4. I had grown women rubbing on me when I was 9. Yeah, that's what they'll be doing. That's what they'll be doing. Let me go ahead and hurt y'all's damn feelings right quick. I don't think it's too soon. There's a bunch of lames on the internet who sat at the feet of other folk like Kevin Samuels talking about paying for sex. And the bottom line is a man doesn't pay for sex because a man paying for sex is an act of submission to a woman. You cannot claim that your masculinity is intact and you've just performed a act of abject submission. Furthermore, there's a man that woman is having sex with who isn't paying her. You never heard Kevin Samuels say that to you all. And he never wanted to quote me directly because he knew what I said blew it out of the water straight to hell. The woman that you paying for sex is having sex with another dude for free. He doesn't have to pay nothing. Yes, I saw the wacky tattoo. I'll let y'all make of that what you will. But the bottom line is there's a dude she's having sex with and ain't paying nothing. Remember when I talked to Bethany Benz a couple of weeks ago? Remember when I talked to her? Yeah, there's a reason why she couldn't say nothing really too far out of line. There's a reason she couldn't say nothing too far out of pocket because I know what I can read your mail, Bethany. There's a dude who you dealing with who can sit up here and he was having sex with you and didn't pay nothing. As a matter of fact, you were paying for them. In the chat room, Yusuke, if you are in your feelings, that's probably because you gotten a lot of bad information. There's probably a lot of superstition you believe in. I'm going to hurt your feelings right now. Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are fake too. You probably thought they were real. By the way, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny are fake too. I know y'all, I'm destroying his worldview tonight. He's going to need therapy. They are not fake. Santa Claus is the GOAT. Santa Claus is not real either. You're just kind of dumb and delusional. Santa Claus ain't real neither. Yeah, Santa Claus ain't the GOAT neither. No, you're just delusional. Oh well. See, if you all had heard this 2 years ago, would you still have kept listening to some of these people if you had heard this 2 years ago? If this had been said 2 years ago, would you still be listening? Because what they're saying is abject stupidity. Some of these dudes running around here looking for a damn father figure, they're just latch on to anything that reinforces their lameness. Well, Kevin said you can pay for it. Kevin said a lot of things. He said a lot of things. That's why lames like you are like, that makes perfect sense. I should pay for sex. And all the hoes out there making money off you lames are like, yeah, that's right. You should all pay for it. I want to tell you guys something. If you're saying something that has hoes clapping their hands and saying, yeah, you right, that's your first clue that you're wrong. If you got chicks out there who make money off of dudes tricking, clapping their hands after what you just said, that's your first clue that you're wrong. But let's be very, very clear. The same broad you talking about paying, there's a dude or a couple of dudes that she's having sex with for free and one that she is paying him. Now, in my world, we have hierarchies. In my world, we have hierarchies. And I don't let lames in suits sit up here and tell me something that's patently false and then I go back and repeat it. Not gonna happen. So some of you who came from the cult of lame, all right, y'all been running around for a long damn time. I'm destroying this with simple logic. You can't even argue with that. You cannot argue that paying a woman for sexual access to her is an act of submission. You can't argue with that any more than the lame who just got off of Zoom can argue with it. He couldn't argue with that. You can't argue with the fact that, by the way, you name any female on this planet, including any chick who's been paid money for sex, and she will tell you, oh, there's a guy who I have sex with on a regular basis and he doesn't pay me nothing. I charge the rest of you. There's a guy, I have sex with him and I don't charge him. He don't have to pay me nothing. Let me guess. Logic is, now you don't like logic anymore. Now you don't like logic anymore. This is simple logic. You don't like it anymore now. Now they don't like the logic anymore. Okay. Let me find out here. Brandon. Go ahead and turn your mic and your camera on, Brandon. They're probably calling me from outside the States or something, so it might take a few moments for them to get Zimbabwe Mobile to get them connected here. Brandon, turn on your mic and your camera, sir. There he goes. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. Hold on a second. Let me get you on camera right quick so everybody can see this. This is gonna be good. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Brandon. Back up a little bit, Brandon, so they can see the flag back there. Back up a little bit. I want them to see it. Okay, there. Y'all, Brandon is color-coded and ready. His green screen is GH5 or higher. We fix that, sir. But all right, Brandon, what is on your mind? I can't wait to see how this goes.
Good evening, Mr. Black. I'm Brandon from Jacksonville, by way of Quito, Ecuador.
All right, what's on your mind?
All right, so I'm coming from a different angle. I know the topic of discussion is still about passport bros. I'm in some of the groups. I've been traveling. I currently right now travel full time.
Where are your people from originally?
Jacksonville. Both my parents are from Jacksonville.
Where are your great grandparents from originally, sir?
My grandfather, Georgia. My maternal grandfather, she is from Jacksonville. My paternal grandmother is from Florida, and then my paternal grandmother also Florida. It's all Florida.
Okay, it's striking us. We picking up some different vibes, brother. We might want to check that Ancestry.com, but okay, we'll go with that for a minute.
Hey, it was stolen from us, Jason. It was stolen from us.
Okay, I'm picking up immigrant vibes, brother. I'm picking that up. Are you sure? Does your lineage go back to the slave fields of America or before? Or does somebody get off a boat or a plane somewhere in the last 160 years?
In 160 years, maybe. I don't know, sir.
Okay, there you go, y'all. I don't know. We're just gonna assume that you know where you come from, and it's not foundational, and that's cool. We just want to make sure that we know the context in which your comments are gonna come from. That's the only reason why that's important. The context is important.
No, I was born here. You
were, but I doubt they were. But okay. So what was the point you wanted to make?
Okay, so the opponents of passport bros only come at them at one angle, that it has to deal with women and sex. Isn't it important to men all around the world? Of course. In all cultures, sure. But I wanted to come in from a different angle that even people listening to us right now, and even yourself can probably agree what's going on in America. I have about 5 points, and I'm not going to try to take this too long. And
give me your two most important points.
Okay, we can talk about, and everyone can agree here, in America, our healthcare system is completely immoral. If you are sick and you go to the hospital, and let's just say even going out of network, it's financial suicide. There's no other country in the planet that.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with women, sir?
I'm not trying to come from women. Remember, I'm trying to come in from a different angle, sir.
Okay.
Now, if you want to continue talking, it's your show. I completely respect you. I'm a patron.
I mean,
if you don't want to talk about it,
here's the issue. Here's the issue. Good health is a great and wonderful thing, and everybody should have it. I personally endorse it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
the only thing is, now you said that, okay, that's a quality of life issue. Got it. But here's the real thing. If your insurance is straight and that's not an issue for you, then that's not a selling point. So what else?
It's still a selling point because they still charge you. Even if your insurance still covers it, sometimes they don't. you're saying that even though you're being covered by insurance, it's still you're being charged.
Okay, then why is there any of those countries you're naming, Cuba, which allegedly has a great healthcare system and socialized, and folks are Cuba has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. It's totally socialized, and folks are risking their lives every single day to get the hell up out of there and come over here to this overpriced ass, confiscatory ass, capitalist system ass healthcare system in America.
But they're not coming there for health.
Why? Okay, but sir, even if you're claiming, but they're willing to give up that talking point you just made about the healthcare system. The folks in these places that enjoy that healthcare system, including in Brazil, those folks are risking their lives to leave there to come here and enjoy this one. So I'm not neutralizing that. Stop talking, sir. I'm not neutralizing your point. The people in the countries you're naming have neutralized your point, not me. They're leaving it to come pay this system over here and to fight with this system over here. So it must be pretty damn good because they're all leaving the one you're talking about.
Jason, okay, so in Brazil, the country behind me, they have free healthcare for not only Brazilians, but foreigners, because in their constitution, they have the same line in the United States, which we can both laugh at, that every person in Brazil has the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in life.
That's not what the Constitution says. It says life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. But go ahead.
But in either way,
basic civics lesson.
In Brazil, they have life. When they think about life, your health is part of your life. So it is on the government of Brazil to make sure that everyone, including foreigners, so people who are listening, if you're sick, you have, God forbid you have cancer or something, and your insurance for some reason doesn't cover it, you can go to Brazil and get full.
Okay, and Brazilians are abandoning that healthcare system every single day to come to America. So they have defeated your point.
Sir, when I'm in Brazil and I tell people, they'll ask me the question, why do you like Brazil, or why are you here? And, I give out my talking points or whatever during conversation, and I will tell them about our healthcare system. And in America, they charge women to hold their children that they just gave birth to.
Okay, and sir, the Brazilians who have left Brazil to come to America, none of them are fighting to get back to Brazil again.
I'm sorry, say that last part.
The bottom line is none of the people who have left Brazil to come here and enjoy this raggedy healthcare system are hurting themselves to get back to Brazil so they can enjoy their socialized healthcare down there.
But when they're the Brazilians that don't want to come to the United States.
There are few and far, sir. If America gave out free visas to America, there would be a sign at the Brazilian airport that said "Last one out, turn off the light."
Okay, sir.
And you know that.
But sir, they're not just coming to the United States for health care.
Yeah, but you raised the point of health. No, you raised the point of healthcare as a quality of life issue as a benefit in Brazil. I showed you that it doesn't matter.
That they're going over there as healthcare. And
okay, you raised it as a point, and I'm showing you your point's invalid. Sir, you raised it as a point. All I did was show you that your point is invalid, as evidenced by the citizens of Brazil. Your point is invalid. What else you got?
Okay. Well, in America, and just in American culture, or well, not in our culture, but how we move here, it's, let me put it in this point. So all the Black people here that's listening on the call, including yourself, you made a program about it on your other show. We saw a few months ago 10 Black people in a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, that got shot by a white supremacist. That does not happen anywhere else. To be streamed on Twitch. Jason, you cannot deny that.
Okay, sir. The shooting in El Paso, Texas, the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, those don't happen anywhere else in the world either.
Right. But still,
there's no but still, sir.
Being hunted and being filmed
Okay,
and being shot
sir.
anywhere else other than the United States of
Okay,
America.
sir, I can. If you're going to talk about video, we can sit here and show video all damn day of Arabs messing up black folk all over northern Africa and in the Middle East. If you really just want to get down to it, sir, Twitter. If I could legally show it, you can look it up on Twitter and anything else. So you're not really making a great point in that regard. Here's the issue here, sir. The bottom line is, if you're going to say that an oppressive state against America has the market cornered on an oppressive state against black folk, that's a silly statement. And if you're saying that it's especially egregious because some guy who's engaged, the individuals engaging in a race war are filming it, then you're not really making a better point there, because what you're trying to say is that the racism over
you
here.
have a whole channel about what we're talking about.
Okay, Brandon, I'm going to say this one time. You asked me, you gave me a point. I am addressing it. What I'm not going to do is talk over you.
Okay, then I won't talk over you.
Now, I'm the one who educated you about this.
Okay, go ahead.
And there's a reason why I can have this recorded, because I can stand by everything I'm saying. When you all are going to stretch yourselves to this ridiculous extreme, let's be very, very clear. Brazil has institutionalized racism against black folk down there.
Right.
Colombia does. Mexico does. These are all places where black people can be, darker skinned folk can be killed with impunity. So if you're going to sit up here and try to tell me, yeah, but the game changer is if somebody streams it, that's not even a point to make.
That's not even, okay.
You're the one who once again, just like the healthcare system, you're the one who said it. Streaming it does not change, does not make this society worse. The fact that the other ones don't stream it doesn't make them better than America.
But I'm not saying that, not only that. But
then why did you say the streaming it is a... Y'all, these guys don't think about anything.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
They just say stuff.
Can I just ask a question? Is there another country where black people are being systematically, how can I put it, systematically destroyed in the history of their country's history more than the United States of America?
Show me a place where black people are not systematically oppressed, blocked, and boxed.
I'm saying
show me the place that it isn't happening.
No, the most, sir, the most.
Sir, the problem is that white supremacy is global. You're trying to say, yeah, but
exactly.
America is just okay, but you're making no. Now, did you all see the logical fallacy he just tried to pull there? White supremacy is global. America is the worst. Now, did you all see that's a contradiction? White supremacy is global. Yeah, it is. But America the worst. No, they're all equal. So just understand, you can't say white supremacy is global and then give everybody else a pass and say, yeah, but y'all are not as bad as them Americans over there. Y'all ain't as bad as them. That's the logical fallacy of it. You're going to give everybody else a pass and say, well, y'all aren't as bad.
I'm literally going based on your whole other channel, the Black Authority channel. You put out great content about Black Americans on that channel.
Okay.
And you're saying the systematic racism in Jackson, Mississippi with the water. I used to live there.
Do you know what the water situation, sir? Do you know the water situation for black folk in the favelas and in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro? Do you know what the water situation is there for them?
Yes, it's bad. I know that, but I'm talking about.
Wow, folks, did y'all hear that? Yeah, it's bad, but so understand, when you're dealing with a person who has an ideology does not take into account facts. Ideology takes into account what it wishes to believe. Facts don't really permeate an ideology. He's literally conceding on every single thing from healthcare to immigration to water that everything he's saying is actually already invalidated. He wants to believe that there's some quantitative difference when he's even conceding that the situation is the same. As a matter of fact, in many cases, worse, because at least they still got their pipes in Jackson, Mississippi.
But, sir, back to the whole point I was making. Mentioning, you have a whole channel that mentions the systematic oppression of Black people in the United States of America, but yet it's like, oh no, these are like passport bros. Like they're trying to get away from that. And that's my point. I'm not talking about women.
Okay, and that's the problem. You can't get away from it. That's the problem.
But you're saying that everything you're saying on that other channel isn't true.
Okay, first of all,
being systematically oppressed.
Okay, first of all, I'm here to discuss the business. If you want to discuss this, the Black channel, you can call in over there, because there's the real thing. Is I want to stay on the subject what I'm talking about tonight, which is why I told you at the beginning.
Exactly.
By the way, you're not even discussing what we're talking about here tonight. But the bottom line is everything that you have said. Take a look at the chat room. Anybody listening is recorded. You've already debunked yourself. All I could do at this point right now is do victory laps. You already conceded that every point you tried to make, America is not an outlier. America is par for the course. We can show you worse conditions in other areas, as evidenced by the fact that them folk are fighting to get over here. There is no mass exodus of folk leaving America to go there. Just a few dudes who, by the way, they wouldn't be able to even go. The passport bros wouldn't be able to be going where they are if they weren't coming from America. But you know what's not happening? The folk who are down there are not coming to America and saying, ooh, I don't like it. Let me go back where I was. They're trying to figure out how to get here and pitch camp, healthcare system, water system, and all. So your point is invalid because the citizens who live in the places that you're naming are not agreeing with you through their actions. They don't agree with you. No one's trying to do that. You have a couple of young dudes who got no kids and they're just basically sex tourists. Okay, if this is how they wish to spend their 20s and 30s, then wrangling with dodging STDs and banditos and everything else, if that's the way they want to spend their prime years of their lives, then they can go ahead and do that. However, nobody's going to gaslight the rest of us into thinking that this is a superior way of doing things, a better way to live, and that they found some secret enclave where it's just on and popping. None of the issues that you name in America are something you can't find anywhere else. You can literally not find, there's literally nothing you can name.
But Jason, I just named it. Name me a place
and
where people in a grocery store were specifically hunted down because they were Black in that grocery store. Name me one country, sir. Just one. Give me one situation,
sir,
where that happened.
Name for me a place where people are gunning folks down in grocery stores, period, outside of America.
No one, barely any other country, because no other country has access to guns.
Okay, thank you. You just defeated yourself for the 5th time.
How?
Because you're trying to make the illogical convolution that, well, the people got gunned down in a grocery store, but because they're black well, they first of all, they get gunned down we get gunned down in a bunch of places, not just grocery stores. So there's your first fallacy. Second of all, you can't name any other place in the world where folks are getting gunned of any color, race, are getting gunned down in grocery stores on a regular basis. America is the concept of road rage, sir. The concept of road rage is unique to America. Road rage is unique to America. Gunning down folk for stepping on your shoes is unique to America. Folks shooting at mass shootings at this proliferation, which right now is really going at almost 3 a week, is unique to America. For you to try to make the convolution that, well, as black folk, we need to head for the hills. There's where we're sitting up here trying to sell fiction. So I'm not defeating your point. You did, unless you can show me that there's a place, unless you can show me that there's another place in the world where people are routinely getting gunned down at restaurants and grocery stores and they're targeting black folk. Unless you can show us that, you don't actually have a point.
But that's the point. That's the point, Jason. I can't, because it doesn't happen regularly anywhere else in the world other than the United States of America.
Correct. So you're saying that we need to leave the United States of America because there's too much gun violence.
Not just violence in general. I'm just saying in culture.
Okay. So you're saying that we need to leave America. You're saying that the gun culture. Okay, sir, I'm hosting my program.
Yes, you are.
So because you're doing a bunch of babbling. You're saying that we need to leave America because folks got guns and they're shooting up the damn place.
The way they're shooting.
Okay, sir. Yes or no, are you saying that black folk need to leave America because there's too much damn shooting going on over here?
No, I should say that you should go to another place where you have peace.
Sir, I got
peace. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't. No
sir,
person,
I have peace.
Go into a grocery
sir,
store,
I have peace in Plano, Texas,
and be worried that someone's going to come in there and shoot him for whatever reason.
Okay, sir. First of all, that's
any violence.
First of all, that's not a black. First of all, that's anybody can get it in America nowadays. The issue for black people is not folk going into grocery stores with guns. The issue for black people is when you have a system that protects them. My little marginally informed friend. The problem is the system that will protect someone who got a Kyle Rittenhouse or somebody Peyton Gendron. The system that will protect them. It isn't the gun that is the biggest issue. It's when you have a system that will protect a mass shooter that is the issue. So once again, you are a master of invalidating yourself. So you should write a book.
Are you saying that people should?
You should write a book. You're a master of invalidating yourself.
System? But Jason, are you making the point that a person should stay in that system?
Sir, what you're saying here is that, well, somebody could shoot at you. Well, absolutely true. That certainly is certain that could happen. As people in America, what I do is I take precautions.
Okay, which are?
Well, for example, I don't drive a small vehicle. I've got large SUVs. I always have a candy bar with me. I am always aware of my surroundings. It's just like if you're dealing with a disease environment. White supremacy is a disease. I act as if I'm in a diseased environment. I take the precautions necessary of a diseased environment. This is our homeland, and we're not running. So while you're over there with your track shoes on, tearing up the concrete, the difference between us and you is I'm not built to run. I'm built to stand. So if they think they're going to run me off, scare me off, the bottom line is you're right. There's a whole bunch of shooting going on. You know why? Because you're in the middle of a race war and it's a damn war zone. And I'm going to behave accordingly. So my options are be like you and run and incorporate that into my character, or make my stand here. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Okay. But if it's a disease, if it's a diseased land, wouldn't leaving the country to get it to, you can go to another part of the country with other people that you can go into.
Sir, you can't. You're stumbling and bumbling because there is no safe place. So I'm not going to do this too much longer. There is no safe place for you to hide from. You can't name a single place that is safe to hide from. If you're worried about mass shootings, well then fine. Go take your chances. Go take your chances with the federales in Mexico. Go take your chances with the police down there in Brazil. Go ahead and take your chances with them. For me, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not running anywhere, and I'm not going to pretend that there's some safe nirvana somewhere to go hang out in. If those are things that, if the healthcare system concerns you, you might want to get better insurance. If you're worried about running into Peyton Gendron, which by the way, there were warning signs all over the place about him, including for the folk who were there. If you're worried about Dylan Roof, I went to Mother Emanuel in Charleston. I was there. I got video on Twitter about that. I walked the same bricks that Dylan Roof did. There were all sorts of warning signs there. So what I'm saying is you are in an environment that is not safe. There are dangers around. You can either adapt to the environment or you can put on your track shoes and run. You have those two choices, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the place you run to isn't actually quantitatively any better than the place you ran from. As a matter of fact, don't be surprised if you see a trail of folk running in the opposite direction. And until you can stop that trail of people running in the opposite direction, y'all run into Brazil and Colombia, and there's a bunch of folk risking their lives in human caravans trying to get out of there. That doesn't make any sense if you're correct. Sir, then those financial reasons must be pretty dire if they're willing to risk their lives to get away from.
Yeah, because when they're in those countries, okay, let's take Venezuela, for example. The average income for a Venezuelan is $4 a month.
Okay.
Their currency is crap. Okay.
And if you live there, you're around a bunch of folks who are starving and would kill you for your $400.
I'm just using that as an example, sir.
All of them, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, we can go down the list.
Brazil's GDP is 1.2 trillion.
And all those folks
in South America is over 20 trillion.
Right. So you're not going to paint that as a great place to be.
But here's the thing. I'm trying to go to the point where you were making with the Cuban going over there. Yes, Venezuelans there's a complete migrant crisis going on in Venezuela because of the currency. Argentina's on their way to the same point that Venezuela's going. But with Venezuelans, they have to survive. They have to send their families over to other countries where Ecuador, where they use the US dollar, to get raiz, to get pesos in Colombia, to get that currency and then send it back to Venezuela.
Yeah, but the point is, sir, the point is you're claiming that there's a threat to people's lives in America. And the bottom line is all these other places you name it for black folk to go to, the native citizens are saying our lives are at risk here to the point that we're willing to risk our lives to leave. There are no Americans who are risking their lives to leave America. You got folks in the places you advocating black folk to go to who are risking their lives to get out of those places, and we're going to make a beeline to go there. Those folks know that we don't.
Well, we have the US dollar. You can go over there and
yes, but you're a person who's got money living in a whole society of other folks who's starving. And y'all don't talk about all the dudes who get kidnapped. You guys don't talk about all the folks who get, okay, knock it off. You guys don't talk about all the folks who get kidnapped, killed, beat up, robbed, and every damn thing else in these places. Y'all don't talk about that.
But do you talk about
okay, he's leaving that part out.
In the United States, everyone walks through Walmart. There's a big bulletin board of all the people that were missing in the area. No one bats an eye with those people.
Okay, so in other words, as I said before, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Why the hell would I pay a premium to leave to go to another place to get robbed, sir? That's stupidity.
You actually save money when you go over.
So I should go to a place where I can get robbed cheaper.
Robbed cheaper? Why would you get robbed cheaper?
So you just said that you face, sir. You're not even listening to yourself. I'm about to get you out of here.
No, I don't.
You are
I'm trying to
the same. You face the same threat,
you're not paying more,
sir. You face the same threat in either place. You're saying, yeah, but come on down here. It costs less to live here and get robbed.
Okay.
I don't see that as a plus.
Okay, and I don't say staying there in an environment where your life it could be dangerous.
Well, here's what you need to do. You need to convince the people who live there to see the same value that you're claiming and trying to project to it, because the folks who live there don't feel the same way about it that you do. Thank you very much for giving us a call and checking in here. Like I say, they believe things. They believe things. They have a belief system, but not a fact system. They have a belief system, but not a fact system. So, but I'm glad they did. I want you all to understand exactly what it is that you're dealing with there. This is the mentality you have to have. This is what you have to buy into. Not a fact system, but a belief system. You got to buy into that. Let me take one more call here on Zoom. Daniel, have you gotten your audio together? Okay. Daniel, I don't know what's going on with your phone here, brother, but you're going to have to check back with us some other time because it just keeps saying that you're trying to connect your audio. So, in any case. Project Leroy, thank you very much for that tonight. We appreciate that. Max Julian, I see you over there. Appreciate that. And like I say, definitely here, I want y'all to understand something here. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or should not be doing in that regard. If you're doing something that's illegal, now I'm not going to co-sign that. But to everybody who's trying to pretend that they balling out of control and things are just going great, they're sitting up here handing out wolf tickets, man. It's just, forget about it. Forget about it. Don't sit up here and say anything to me about that. Those are the kind of things that matter. And I know I'm trying to be a smart ass. Yes, I'm trying to be a smart ass. Somebody else is going to try to correct me on that. I'm doing that on purpose. But I want you to understand that that's what you're dealing with there. That's what you're dealing with. They can live however in the world they want to. They can live however the world they want to. But that's just one of those things there where, if they believe those things, they can believe that. But just understand that's for your consumption. These are not things they actually live for. If you're a lame in America, you're going to be a lame over there. You hear these guys talking about, well, the dollar goes further. Okay, but do you all notice it's not like these fellas are over there in Colombia or Brazil putting together some consortium of rich black men who are making them big pop off. Do y'all notice that? These guys are all claiming that they're balling and this, that, and the other, but they're not showing anything here that's saying that. They're not saying they're not showing y'all where they're doing anything or acting on this. So what they're saying is, okay, we're in our youth, we're young men, or some of you who are not, and we're just basically balling, we're just basically running around and running through as many hoes overseas as we can, and we found a place where we're willing to risk doing that, okay? Go ahead and do that, but what you're not doing is demonstrating any power, wealth, influence, or anything beyond that. So don't come back here and claim that you've got some mastery of it that you don't. And now I'm going to come to the last part I was going to say here. A lot of you fellas here, I don't want to be like you. And that's the thing that you guys need to ask yourselves. Do you want to be like them? How many of you want to be a kid who's looking back in an environment where you talking about folks was watching porn at 6 years old? Akunalana, you're absolutely correct about that. Dudes who come from messed up households were sitting up here listening to dudes on the internet promoting messed up households and thinking this mess is legal. How many of you want your daughters watching porn at 6 years old? Let me try this a different way. How many of the ladies listening to me right now, you can't wait to get with a dude who is bragging about, he was on my phone bragging that he was watching porn at 6 years old and that's how he discovered Brazilian women. How many women listening to me right now, live or recorded, that's the dude you want as your head of household, raising your family, raising your children? How many of you want that? How many? How many of you that's what you're looking for? Because that's what I'm saying right now. That's not even what I want. That is not what I want. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be a guy from that background. I'm not really aspiring to that. And these guys are talking like it's fly and it's okay. And I'm like, man, there's nothing fly about that. That's not good. That's not cool. That's not cool. So what I'm just saying, if that's how he was living in America, the whole point I was making from the very beginning is what the hell's going on down there in South America? If that's what they're doing in America, what's going on in South America? What are these guys doing down there? And it's even worse when you insult our intelligence. That's why I was saying, dude, if you're bragging about watching porn at 6 years old, yeah, I can imagine that females wasn't going to cook you a meal or anything else. You have a warped, twisted, perverted view about women and what you're supposed to do with them. And as a result of that, they're having this repulsive reaction. They're having that repulsive reaction. In the chat room, I want phase 3 to go ahead and call us up on Zoom. Since Blog Talk is closed here, no, phase 3 can go ahead and call us on Zoom. The link is in the chat room. Go ahead and unhide him here for a couple of minutes. Understand something. To all of the busted ass, lame ass, fruit booty mama's boys who were following behind Kevin for all that time, all of you are still just as dusty, lame, broke, unaccomplished. Now they're all scattered and lost. Kevin took all that from me and then twisted it with his own lameness. And I'm like, oh, no. I got to rinse out the lameness. The lame got to get rinsed out of it. And I'm still here. You see, the biggest mistake that he made was he made you lames feel comfortable in your lameness. And so you guys are like, we had us a spokesman to be lames and busters. Oh, okay. Now you don't feel so good anymore because there's nobody promoting you being lames and busters. And you're saying, we're looking for somebody to do that. Nobody wants to be broke down and dusty and bummy like you, man. That's the real issue. When are you going to put some points on the damn board? Let me tell you something. If you ain't ruling over here with chicks in America, I'll be damned if you're going to convince me of the lie that you running the damn thing in Colombia. These guys are going down there claiming they running the yard. No proof, no invoices, no receipts. Just trust us. We running it. Just trust us. We're running it. Please, and don't tell me about any attorneys. Don't tell me about no attorneys running around here claiming that we've been hearing about them being engaged for years. You ever gonna make an honest woman out of that woman? See, for those of you who just met these dudes, y'all are falling for it. This is the part that's shameful. You see, that's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you know that something is faulty and flawed and broken, and instead of you accepting the reality of it, you start fighting it because the reality is too brutal for you to accept, because you would have to admit that everything you thought was true was a lie. But let me be very, very clear. You're not going to impress me talking about some attorney who they claim that they've met somebody and everything's great. It's years later. I ain't seen nothing else happen. So just understand this is something that's being sold to you. This isn't something real. It's something being sold to you. It's being sold to you for the purposes of hopefully impressing you. And y'all saw as I got on the phone with one lame after another lame after another lame. And all I had to do was just ask 2 questions and boom, they're knocked out like Tyson in his prime was laying folk out. Why is that? Why is it that this wasn't exposed and shown way sooner before now? Why did it take this long? Because you had a culture of males who have been reinforcing their lameness. And what I'm saying is that that's not the way you get anything done. You don't get anything done by pretending to be better than you are. You get things done by becoming better than you are. And the bar ain't even high. The bar isn't even high. That's the killing damn part of it. M. Dunn, you're correct. Brazil's the new fantasy. Brazil, Colombia, Dominican Republic, those are the new fantasy lands. This is where the lames claim that they got, I got a big house, I'm balling. Where you balling at, Colombia? And I'm saying instead of you all, we have so many people out here who are trying to pretend to be okay, pretend to be all right, pretend to be straight, pretend that they got everything in hand. And I'm saying, hey, why don't you become someone who's got it in hand? How about that? How about you become someone who's actually got it together? Stop sitting up here trying to fake and front and fraud your way through things and become somebody who's got it together. You've got females in America, in Britain. They are agreeing to every type of ridiculous arrangement you could possibly imagine. How many chicks are sitting up here on dudes' inboxes on Twitter and IG and everything, damn thing else, with every ridiculous thing you could imagine? Every sort of lameness and stupidity you could name. These guys, you notice that they broke in half when I asked them all the same questions. By the way, what's the marriage rate in these places? Ooh, don't know. It's really low though. What's the single mother rate? That don't matter. I thought you were upset about that. Single motherism is a product of feminism. He's claiming that the single motherism in America bothers him. The single motherism in Colombia and Brazil don't bother him. Sounds like somebody's selling a fraud. Single motherism is a problem no matter where you go. There's no place where the single moms over here is popping. Really? So go ahead, believe fantasy talk if you want to here. Just understand these guys are selling you something. They're selling you something. You have a choice to believe that or not to. But go back and listen to tonight's program and ask yourself if you want to identify with that. Ask yourself if that's who you want to be. Maybe you'll come up to the right answer. Kiki Naturalista, don't worry, they'll be still in here shortly. Now you all know how to dissect the game. And one more thing here, let me go ahead and say this. For those of you who you were Kevin Samuels followers and all of this stuff is new to you, you just got exposed to all this in the last 2 years. I got to tell you, you're late, man. You're late. If you just got exposed to all this in the last couple of years, you're late. If your introduction to these issues or discussing this was through him, all I can say is you came in at a bad time. You came in the middle of the most erroneous lecture ever, and you came in at a bad time. That's all I can tell you. Let me see, Effie, you got your speakers on. You need to turn it off. What's your name? Slow down. Pay attention. What's your name? Y'all, I got more people here tonight. They're almost paying attention, but they're...
Yo.
Wait, what is your name, sir?
Yeah, this Phase.
It's Phase. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Phase, and where are you calling from?
From Phoenix.
Phase from Phoenix. And what's on your mind, Phase from Phoenix? He's looking around like a crack fiend. Phase, pay attention.
Man, I can't even see you, bruh. But, yeah.
What is on your mind, sir, such as it is? They're drunk, they're high, they're stupid, they're on my phone. If he can be a little bit less drunk, maybe his life will come together for him. Well, some folks are failing the sobriety test, so it's late. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. So I'm glad they called in because it's very good that we get to hear what they actually think and get to hear what they actually say. They are screwed up. They talk in circles. They meander. They're completely illogical. They're off in their own little fantasy world. And the worst part is it doesn't work. It ain't working for them. If women in South America were really so much better, why are you not going ahead and marrying one, getting her off the damn market so you can start your legacy and be done with it? Why in the hell are you not doing so? I'm not up here to sing the praises of women in American culture. I'm here to tell you that this culture, the feminine culture, is worldwide. There is no safe zone for it. So just like mass shooters and road rage in the healthcare system, you navigate it. You have to manage it. And anybody telling you that there's a place in the world that doesn't require management or doesn't require a serious amount of management, that's different. I will tell you one thing. Listen to these guys' attitudes about women from their very earliest ages. Take a look at their attitude about women from the very earliest ages. And can you spot the fellas who have a whole lot of trouble with women wanting to do anything with them? Think about that for a few moments. Do those seem like the kind of guys who inspire women to want to do anything productive with them? We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the business, welcome to the program that all your favorite YouTubers talk crap about behind our backs. This is the place where they got the game from. Can't wait to make a short out of this, although I don't know if YouTube will allow me. Make sure you click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time here. We're going to go ahead and be doing our patron here tomorrow. For those of you who missed last week's patron about branding, who knows? I might have a few more thoughts about that. So going forward, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how that goes. In any case, make sure you join us here tomorrow on Patreon around 12 noon Central Time. We'll be glad to have you. A lot of folks have been asking to speak to me here, so this will be your opportunity to go ahead and do that as well. I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight. Thank you for everyone who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business, or your business will handle you.